Hello friends, welcome to Nandip Academy's test discussion session. Today we shall be having discussion on the questions asked in UPSC Prelims History Test number 6. Okay, we shall be discussing the questions in detail, okay, answers, okay, and also the related information that will be helpful for you in the forthcoming examination. Okay, आपली नुकतीच जी टेस्ट झाली होती त्या टेस्टमध्ये हिस्ट्रीचे जे क्वेश्चन्स आहेत त्याची आपल्याला चर्चा करायची आहे आणि येणाऱ्या एक्झामच्या अनुषंगाने जी रिलेव्हंट इन्फॉर्मेशन ते सुद्धा आपण डिस्कस करूयात जेणेकरून येणाऱ्या एक्झाममध्ये तुम्हाला फायदा होईल. चला, so first question is, what is first question? The first question is, consider the following statements regarding the sites of the Harappan civilization. Rakhigarhi is known as Manchester of the Harappan civilization, okay, for its cotton trade. राखीगढी हे लक्षात घे, कॉटन ट्रेड साठी फेमस होतं का? नो. राखीगढी जे आहे लक्षात घे ते एक प्रकारे इनलँड अशा प्रकारची साइट होती. ओके, सो राखीगढी इज नॉट नोन फॉर द मँचेस्टर दॅट इज कॉटन ट्रेड. It is not cotton production, cotton trade, and Rakhigarhi was not an important center for the cotton trade. Rather, it is Lothal, okay, which is okay known for the cotton trade, and therefore the first statement is wrong. पहिलं statement चुकीचे आहे, लक्षात घ्या. Lothal is the only site of the civilization with an artificial dockyard. Okay, हे विधान बरोबर आहे. Kalibangan is located on the banks of the rivers Ghaggar. That is also true. Kalibangan. Here the charred bangles, चाळलेल्या बांगड्या आपण ज्याला म्हणतो, charred bangles have been found and therefore it is known as the Kalibangan. So you have been asked to identify the correct statements. 2 and 3 are the correct statements. Okay, yes, consider this particular explanation. Okay, this is about Lothal. Okay, इथे तुम्हाला दिसेल, you will be finding this artificial dockyard. हा इथं त्या डॉकयार्डचं एक ओके तुम्हाला इथे चित्र दिसेल, artificial dockyard, and here the Lothal is located. Okay, Mehergarh, okay, the Neolithic site which eventually became the part of the Indus Valley civilization. The two most important sites of the IVC, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, and then you'll be finding Lothal here. And in this Lothal, okay, we have found an artificial dockyard. देखिए ना, त्याच्यावरून तुमच्या लक्षात येईल की okay, हे जो dockyard आहे, okay, used for the servicing of the ships. That was very important place, okay. And that was very important place and the port for the maritime trade. Okay, सागरी व्यापारासाठी अत्यंत महत्त्वाचं असं केंद्र होतं, लक्षात घ्या. Okay, considering its importance, the central government recently has taken a decision. Okay, what was the decision? Lothal, आता हे एक नॅरेशन लक्षात घ्या. Okay, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, okay, he has stated some important points regarding the Lothal. Lothal was a thriving center of India's maritime capability. It was not only a major trading center of the Indus Valley civilization, but it was also a symbol of India's maritime power and prosperity. There was a time when Lothal port was marked by the flags of 84 countries. जवळपास 84 भागांमधले ओके लोक या ठिकाणी व्यापारासाठी येत होते, अशी एक वेळ येऊन गेलेली आहे. And therefore, considering the importance of this Lothal, a decision is taken that here, okay, there will be construction, okay, raising of the National Maritime Heritage Complex. Okay, so National Maritime Heritage Complex at Lothal will act as a center of learning and understanding India's diverse maritime history. Lothal, which fills us with pride because of its history, will now shape the future of the generations to come. Okay, that is the narration, okay, statement by our Honorable Prime Minister. So here, okay, there will be National Maritime Heritage Complex. Okay, do remember, this is very, very important point. Next question is, okay, Indian League was established, Indian League, Madras Mahajan Sabha and British Indian Association. Okay, you have been asked to, okay, identify the correct chronological sequence of the formation of above organization. So here, what will we find? The British Indian Association was established in 1851. The Indian League was established in 1875. Madras Mahajan Sabha was established in 1884. So 3, 1, 2 is the right answer. Okay. So explanation. Okay, British Indian Association, it was established on 29th October 1851, and the president of this organization was Raja Radhakant Dev. This is PYQ by UPSC. The secretary of this organization was Devendranath Tagore. Okay, and one more important point regarding the British Indian Association was this Devendranath Tagore, he had a tour. Okay, do remember this particular point. He toured the British India. त्यांनी काय केलं होतं? ब्रिटिश भारताचा दौरा त्यांनी केला होता. He toured the British India and he influenced or he made an appeal. Okay, he made an appeal. Okay, to regional leaders to work on the similar lines and the outcome was his appeal was heard, it was listened to, and eventually different organizations in different parts of India were established. For example, in Pune, Deccan Association was established. In Madras, Madras Native Association was established. Madras Native Association was established. And in Bombay, Bombay Association was established. And these associations, they worked in tandem, they worked in line with each other. Okay, त्यांनी एकमेकांसोबत त्यांनी काम केलं होतं हे लक्षात घ्या. And that is why British India Association is important, and importance of this organization is it is regarded as the first organization that had worked on all India basis. अखिल भारतीय पातळीवर प्रयत्न करणारी ही पहिली संघटना आहे असं हिचं वर्णन केलं जातं हे लक्षात घ्या. Okay, next organization is India League. Okay, that was established in 18 September 1875 by Shishir Kumar Ghosh, Anand Mohan Bose and Surendranath Banerjee. President was Shambhu Charan Mukherjee, and eventually this Indian League became part of the Indian Association of the Surendranath Banerjee, okay, which was established in 1876. Then there was Madras Mahajan Sabha that was established in May 1884, and the founders were Veer Raghavacharya, P. Ananda Charlu, and Subramaniam Iyer. Okay, yes. Next question is with reference to Ghaznavids. Okay, Ghaznavids. The term itself is Ghaznavid. Okay, with reference to Ghaznavid, the term chicken mint. Okay, the option is A. Answer is A. Option A. Destroyer of images for the protection of Islam. See, the story goes like this. In 999 AD, okay, the story goes like this. In 999 AD, Mahmud Ghazni, okay, Mahmud of the Ghazna, okay, Mahmud of the Ghazna, and therefore we call him as Muhammad Ghazni. Okay, Mahmud of Ghazna, he became the ruler of that particular region. Mahmud of Ghazna became ruler of the Ghazna. Okay, ruler of Ghazna region, and then he took a vow, he took a pledge, त्याने एक शपथ घेतली, okay, to raid India, okay, to invade India at least once a year, to invade India at least once a year. ओके, लक्षात घ्या. त्यांनी काय केलं होतं, ओके, भारतात कमीत कमी एकदा मी आक्रमण करणार, ओके, अशा प्रकारची शपथ त्यांनी घेतली होती. टू रेड इंडिया ॲट लिस्ट वन्स अ इयर, that was his pledge, and eventually, okay, he ruled up to 1030 AD, okay, 1030 AD, and during this particular period, okay, 17 times he had invaded the India. So what were the objectives? Okay, Mahmud Ghaznini 17 वेळा स्वाऱ्या केल्या असं आपण म्हणतो, लक्षात घ्या. What were the objectives? Okay, according to some, okay, his objective was mainly political one. Okay, according to some, his objective was economic one, and according to some, his objective was the religion. Okay, a religious objective. So what was the political objective? Okay, it is argued that he wanted to create an Ghaznavid empire into India, and that is why he had invaded into the interior, okay, inland part of the Indian territory. But that was not the case. Okay, had it been the case, म्हणजे त्याला जर भारतामध्ये साम्राज्य प्रस्थापित करायचं असतं तर त्यांनी काय केलं असतं की तो प्रदेश प्रत्यक्ष नियंत्रणाखाली आणून त्या ठिकाणी एक राज्य प्रशासनाची एक व्यवस्था निर्माण केली असती. बट दॅट इज नॉट द केस. ही वुड इन्व्हेड, ही वुड लूट द टेरिटरी, तो आक्रमण करेल, तो लुटालूट करेल, तो निघून जाईल. बट ही फेल्ड टू एस्टॅब्लिश एनी परमनंट सिस्टम देअर, अँड दॅट इज वाय द पॉलिटिकल मोटिव्स आर देअर. ओके, दिस आर्ग्युमेंट or this view is not accepted. Okay, then there is another argument that his motive was a religious motive, because he himself had declared, okay, he declared himself to be the Buddh Shikan. त्याने स्वतःला बुद्ध शिकन असं म्हटलं होतं. बुद्ध म्हणजे इमेज, शिकन म्हणजे डिस्ट्रॉयर. लक्षात घ्या, डिस्ट्रॉयर ऑफ द इमेजेस, म्हणजे मी कशासाठी आक्रमण करतोय तर मला प्रतिमा भंजन करायचं आहे असं त्याचं म्हणणं होतं. लक्षात घ्या. बट अगेन दिस पर्टिक्युलर थिंग इज डाउटेड, दो ही हिमसेल्फ कॉल्ड हिमसेल्फ टू बी द बुद्ध शिकन, बट द रियल मोटिव्ह वॉज इकॉनॉमिक. व्हाय? बिकॉज जर कारण लक्षात घे की धर्मालाच जर त्यांना टार्गेट करायचं असलं असतं, प्रतिमा भंजनच जर त्याला करायचं असतं तर काय झालं असतं, लक्षात घ्या. मग त्याने प्रतिमा भंजनच जर त्याला करायचं असतं तर त्याने, ओके, त्याच्या वाटेमध्ये येणारी सगळीच मंदिरं त्याने उद्ध्वस्त केली असती. तसे केलं का? नाही. ओके, ह्या टार्गेटेड सिलेक्टेड टेम्पल्स विच आर वेल्दी इन नेचर. तर श्रीमंत, ओके, ज्या ठिकाणी संपत्ती मोठ्या प्रमाणात अशाच मंदिरांना त्याने टार्गेट केलेलं आपल्याला दिसून येतं. लक्षात घ्यायच्यावरून मग सांगितलं काय केलं, हिज मोटिव्ह वॉज प्रायमरीली द इकॉनॉमिक वन, दो ही कॉल्ड हिमसेल्फ टू बी द बुद्ध शिकन. ओके, लक्षात घ्या. इकॉनॉमिक मोटिव्ह काय होतं, मग असं सांगितलं जातं की हिज मोटिव्ह वॉज टू इन्व्हेट टुवर्ड्स द युरोपियन साइड, but to finance or to fund that particular European campaign, he needed money, and that money was acquired from the Indian campaign. Okay, so three objectives are narrated here: political, economic, and religious. As far the religious objective is concerned, okay, the term Buddhishikan is important. Okay, yes. So next question, fourth question. In the context of ancient Indian literature, Kalpasutra is associated with which of the following sects? It is Shvetambara, Jain. Okay, the Kalpasutra is one of the most important and popular texts of the Shvetambara Jainism. Its first part deals with the lives of the Jaina Mahavira, especially Parshvanatha, Neminatha and Rishabhanatha. Its second part includes the praise of early Jain teachers and the monastic rules for the Renaissance. Okay, the Kalpasutra is used in a daily practice and also read during the Paryushana festival. This ceremonial use explains why Kalpasutra manuscripts are very often beautifully crafted and richly illustrated. Okay, and this will be your future MCQ. Okay, why the Kalpasutra, okay, Kalpasutra manuscripts are beautifully crafted. याचं कारण काय असेल ते याचं कारण आहे की त्याचं रेग्युलर आणि सेरेमोनियल यूज आहे हे लक्षात घ्या त्याचं कारण आहे. सो आन्सर इज ओके बी श्वेतांबरा जैनिझम. Next question, okay, consider the following events: Indigo Revolt, Santhal Rebellion, Deccan Riots and Mutiny of Sepoys at Barakpur. Okay, so choose the correct chronological sequence of this event from the code given below. So yes, definitely, see, lakshat gya, ya tikani, what do we find? Santhal Rebellion, 1856, 2, then, okay, 4, okay, 2, 4, Indigo Riots, 1, and then Deccan Riots, 3. 2413 option is 2413 option D is the answer. Okay, so what is the explanation? The first is basically Santhal Rebellion. Santhal Rebellion, okay, which is considered as the most violent. Okay, the idea here is simple. This question was earlier asked by UPSC as well. Suppose this is the 1857 revolt. 1857 revolt. Just before the 1857 revolt, okay, in 1856 there was Santhal Rebellion. Okay, there was a Santhal Rebellion, okay, which was participated in by, led by Sidhu and Kanhu. Okay, Sidhu and Kanhu, they had led this particular movement. This movement was inspired by the ideal of golden age concept. It was marked by the concept of golden age, means revival of the, okay, ancient past, which was highly golden, highly prosperous in nature. So that was the concept. Okay, Siddha and Kanhu, and this particular, okay, movement is considered as the most violent, okay, most violent among the tribal rebels, most violent tribal rebellions. Okay, do remember this particular point. Then 1857 revolt, okay, it started, we know that it started at Meerut, but even before, okay, Meerut, what do we find? Even before Meerut, we find the mutiny of the Mangal Pandey at Barakpur. Okay, Barakpur mutiny was there, and then the event started from the Meerut, and therefore Barakpur, and then 1859 Indigo Riots were there. Indigo Riots, and then in 1875, due to the atrocious nature of the Rayatwari system मध्ये जे काय faults होते लक्षात घ्या. Rayatwari system, and there were flaws in that particular system, and owing to the flaws in the Rayatwari system, okay, in Deccan, okay, the riots had taken place, and that is known as the Deccan riot. Okay, yes, so this is the explanation to this particular question. Remember, this is important point, and this has been already asked by the UPSC just prior to the revolt of 1857 and just after the revolt of 1857. These two events are important. Indigo revolt just after the revolt of 1857, just after Indigo, and just before, okay, just before 1857 is Santhal Rebellion. Yes, these are some important points here. Next question. Which of the following statements are correct factors that attracted European trading companies to India? The trading companies acquired charters from the rulers that ensured that they do not face competition from other companies, okay, from the same country. That is true. Okay, they had, okay, gained the monopolistic control, and that was the meaning of the charter itself. Charter या शब्दाचा अर्थच तो होतो, लक्षात घ्या. Okay, the meaning of the charter is the same. The cotton, okay, the silk, cotton, silk, paper, cloth, cardamom and cinnamon were in great demand in the Europe. That is also true. Okay, the spices, okay, were in great demand. Spice trade, okay, it was highly prosperous. Spice trade was there, but that spice trade, okay, it was halted. It was halted okay, due to Turkish occupation by Ottomans, and therefore the European people, they started exploring a new routes towards India. Okay, हा जो काय म्हणू आपण त्याला की हा जो स्पाइस ट्रेड होता, लक्षात घ्या, हा स्पाइस ट्रेड ऑटोमन लोकांनी त्या ठिकाणी ऑक्युपाय केलेला असल्यामुळेच ओके यांना आता नवीन मार्गांची आवश्यकता वाटायला लागली होती आणि त्याच प्रयत्नांमध्ये आपल्याला काय दिसतं, या लोकांनी आता ओके नवीन मार्ग शोधायला सुरुवात केली होती आणि भारतामध्ये स्पाइस ट्रेड हा फार ल्युडिक्रस आपण ज्याला म्हणतो अत्यंत महत्त्वाचा असा हा होता, ते लक्षात घ्या. ओके, then they looked for new lands from which they could buy goods at a cheap price and sell them to European at higher prices. That is also true. Okay, during this particular period they had pursued the ideology of the mercantilism, and mercantilism aims at maximization of the profits. Okay, maximization of profits, and it believes that the wealth is created by the trade. Okay, and therefore 1, 2 and 3, all the 3 statements are correct. Yes, next question. With reference to the various measures taken by Alauddin Khilji to control the markets and introduction of agrarian policies to increase land revenue, which of the following statement is or are correct? He sought to fix the cost of all commodities. Okay, he sought to fix the cost of all commodities available in the market. Alauddin appointed a high official called Shahena to maintain the register of the merchants and control the prices in the market. Okay, for a better collection of land revenue, the villages were assigned to the Iqtadars. Yes, okay, so do remember that this particular measure, appointment of Iqtadar, the institution of Iqtadar, it is basically Arab and Persian institution, and institution of Iqtadar, it was created or established, institutionalized by the Iltutmish, or in English we call him as a Iltutmish. Okay, it is the contribution of Iltutmish, not the Alauddin Khilji, and therefore the statement number 3 is incorrect. He sought to fix the cost of all commodities available in the market. This statement is correct. Alauddin appointed high officials called Shahna-e-Mandi, Shahna-e-Mandi and Shuhna-e-Mandi. These were the 2 important officials appointed by Alauddin Khilji to maintain the register of the merchants and control the prices in the market. So first statement is correct and the second statement is also correct. Okay, but the third statement is incorrect. Okay, then now consider this particular argument. Why Alauddin Khilji? Why this particular market reform was there? So there are 2 opinions. According to Barani, there was this particular historian known as Barani. It was a military measure. Do remember this particular point. It was a military measure, and according to certain other historians, okay, it is basically the popular welfare. Objective was welfare of the people. Okay, according to some other historians, okay, the objective of this particular measure was welfare of the people. Yes. Okay, so some say the objective is, yes, according to some historians, the objective is military objective, and some historians hold that, okay, this particular, okay, the measure is taken for the welfare of the people. Do remember this particular point. It can also be asked in the examination. Why did he, okay, use this particular mechanism? So according to some military mechanism, why? Because Alauddin Khilji wanted to become the Sikandari Sani, that is second Alexander. He wanted to conquer the territories and therefore he required military. At the same time, continuous Mongol invasions were being taken place and therefore he wanted army for the protection purpose as well. So increase in the army means increase in the salaries, amount in the salary, and therefore it would result into the inflationary pressure. And in order to negate, in order to do what you can say, reduce the impact of that inflationary pressure, Alauddin Khilji tried to lower the prices itself, and that is basically the core crux of the market reforms of Alauddin Khilji. Yes. Okay. Next question. The term Swaraj had different meanings during the non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement. This statement is correct. Okay, non-cooperation movement had a wider reach as against the civil disobedience movement. That statement is incorrect. Okay, yes, we will try to explain this particular point here. Okay, in NCM, the word Swaraj had, okay, a limited connotation, and it was meant that parliamentary Swaraj, okay, parliamentary Swaraj, in accordance with the wishes of the people, okay, in accordance with in accordance with the wishes of the people. That was the demand, in accordance with the wishes of the people. Wishes of people. Okay, that was the definition of Swaraj during the NCF. It simply amounted to be the dominion status itself. Okay, yes. But as far as the civil disobedience movement is concerned, जिथपर्यंत CDMचा सवाल आहे लक्षात घ्या. Here Swaraj implied, okay, Swaraj implied Purna Swaraj. Swaraj implied Purna Swaraj, and this Purna Swaraj, okay, it was not only political theme, it was political, economic and social emancipation of the people in this country as well. And therefore the connotation of the Swaraj was different in, okay, these two movements. That statement is definitely correct. But non-cooperation movement had wider reach. That is not true. Non-cooperation movement had limited reach. Civil disobedience movement is considered as the most successful, most organized, and mostly, what we can say, most spread movement of all the Gandhian movements. And therefore, okay, the second statement here is, okay, incorrect. This statement is correct. Okay, next question we shall be dealing with. The megalithic graves were found to be located within the center of settlement like citadel of the Indus Valley civilization. This statement is wrong because the megalithic structures, they were found outside the what we can say, the settlement, not within the settlement, within the center of the settlement. That is not true. Outside the settlement, the megalithic people had advanced type of agricultural practices as shown by the agricultural tools. Okay, you have been asked to identify the correct statement. Okay, yes. So what about this second statement? Okay, that is true. That is true that megalithic people had, okay, agricultural practices, because megalithic in South India, okay, megalith in South India implied the Iron Age in South India. Megalith is Iron Age in South India. But if we compare, okay, the iron tools of South India with those of the North India, okay, we find that they were less advanced, they were not much advanced, and therefore this statement is also wrong. This statement is definitely wrong, okay, but it can have the interpretation. But if we compare with the agricultural tools of the North India, then we cannot say that the megalithic people had advanced type of agricultural practices, and that is the reason, as compared to the North India, the South Indian Neolithic, my mistake, South Indian Iron Age could not lead to the revolutionary changes for much time period. But in case of North India, the Iron Age there, okay, it had given the quick results, resulting into the beginning of the early states. But that did not happen in case of the South India, and therefore even statement 2 is also incorrect. It is a matter of interpretation, but here the comparison is made with the, okay, North India itself. Yes, next question. Okay, here, okay, the megalith. Why megaliths are known as the megalith? Because outside the settlement, okay, above the burial ground, they used to have certain, okay, fashioned stone structures. For example, this particular structure is known as the Topi Kalu. Okay, it looked like a topi, and therefore Topi Kalu. This structure is known as the Menhir. Okay, Menhir. This particular structure, okay, it is known as the Menhir. This structure is known as the Menhir. Okay, this particular structure was known as the dolmen. Okay, dolmen, and these are the stone circles, and the stone circles are especially found in the Maharashtra. Okay, stone circle. These are some important, okay, megalithic presentations. Okay, so next question we shall be dealing with now. Yes, next question. Okay, consider the following statements regarding the Vedas. The word Veda signifies knowledge. Yes, definitely the term Veda comes from Vida, and Vida means to know. Okay, Vida या शब्दाचा अर्थच जाणून घेणं होतं. So knowledge, Veda is knowledge. They are actually providing humans about knowledge to conduct their life on earth. So we know that, okay, there are 4 Vedas. One is Rig Veda. Okay, yes, okay, we know that. What is the meaning of this Vedic literature? Okay, Rig Veda. So what is Rig? Okay, Rig. Rig is basically to praise, knowledge about the prayers. That is Rig Veda. Okay, then Yajus. Yajus is basically, okay, to perform the sacrifices, rituals. Okay, rituals. So knowledge about rituals is Yajus. Saman. Okay, Saman is musical singing. Okay, so recitation of, okay, recitation of those hymns in the Rigveda, that is Saman, okay, musical singings. And then Atharvana is magical formulae or chants. magical formulae or chants. So different aspects of knowledge have been dealt in the Vedic literature, and therefore the first statement is completely correct. The Vedas were initially handed down orally by generation to generation. That is also true, and that is why the Veda is known as the Shruti literature. Okay, the term Shruti, to be heard, is because of this phenomenon only. So both the statements are correct. Yes, next question. Which of the following statements regarding the Chalcolithic period is or are correct? The economy was based on subsistence agriculture, stock raising, hunting and fishing. The painted pottery was distinguishing feature among all the Chalcolithic cultures. Okay, both the statements are correct. The economy was based on subsistence agriculture. This is the reason why, because of locational factors. Okay, locational factors. So what do we find? Locational factors. So Chalcolithic cultures are located in dry, arid climatic zones. Okay, dry, arid climatic zones. We find Chalcolithic cultures in dry, arid climatic zones, and therefore these areas are marked by the subsistence agriculture. Okay, that is, therefore the statement is true. But okay, they were in contact, they were in touch with each other as well as the Harappan civilization, and therefore their pottery was advanced. So painted pottery was the distinguishing features. Both the statements are correct. Yes, next question. Okay, with reference to the Vijayanagara kingdom, which of the following pairs are correctly matched? The Nayakas, Nayakas were top graded officers of the revenue. Amarams were military, grand, and Varahas were the gold coin. Okay, so, Nayakas were not only revenue officers, Nayakas were overall in charge of that particular province, in charge of provinces, and they were kind of autonomous in nature, and therefore, what we can say, the first pair is incorrectly matched, and then, Amarams were military grants, in some cases, they were religious grants as well, they were religious grants as well, but, they were, what we can say, the military grants as well. Varaha, Varaha were the gold coins, and they were, what we can say, influenced by the pagoda of the Portuguese people, and therefore the statements 2 and 3 are correct. Option number D is the answer. Next question. Which of the following statement is incorrect regarding the ancient India? Avadana literature was related to the Mahayana Buddhism. No. Saundarananda was written by, written in Pali by, yes, incorrect. You have been asked to identify the incorrect statement. Yes, Avadana literature was related to the Mahayana Buddhism. That statement is true. Saundarananda was written in Pali by Ashwaghosha. Now we shall have discussion on 13th question. Which of the following statements is incorrect regarding the ancient India? Avadana literature was related to the Mahayana Buddhism. Yes, Ashoka Avadana, Divya Avadana. These are the Sri Lankan literature, and those are associated with the Mahayana Buddhism, and those were written during the early Christian centuries, and therefore the first statement is correct. Saundarananda was written in Pali by Ashwaghosha. No, Ashwaghosha was the Sanskrit scholar, and he is the first Sanskrit dramatist of the India, and therefore this statement is incorrect. The oldest example of Kavya style belong to the 2nd century AD, found in the Junagadh. Yes, that is also true. Rudra Damana's inscription. Rudra Damana's inscription. Which we know as the Junagadh rock inscription. That is true. Classical Sanskrit language. Vatsayan's Kama Sutra shows the tableau of the urban life. That is also true, because the term Nagaraka is used, and that term Nagaraka itself indicates the urban way of life. That is the interpretation, and therefore the second statement is yes, incorrect. Consider the following statements about Bhimbetka cave paintings. The rock paintings have numerous layers belonging to various epochs of time, ranging from Upper Paleolithic to medieval periods. Yes, that is true. And Bhimbetka itself shows that the painting tradition, the art of painting, had begun from the Upper Paleolithic period itself, and therefore the statement is correct. Both animals and humans are depicted in these paintings. That is also true. Animals solo, humans solo, hunting scenes, association with each other, the fights of the humans, and different sorts of relationship between the human and the nature, that is shown in the Bhimbetka, and therefore both 1 and 2 are the correct statements. And now next question is, with reference to the medieval Indian history, Consider the following statements regarding the Balban. The commencement of the construction of Qutub Minar, which started earlier, was completed during the Balban's reign. That statement is incorrect because, okay, the Qutub Minar, construction of the Qutub Minar has started during the period of Qutubuddin Aibak, and it was completed by Iltutmish, okay, Iltutmish, master of the Balban, and therefore the first statement is incorrect. Balban ordered his officials to observe Sijda and Paibos as a normal form of salutation for the king. This statement is correct because Balban had believed in the divine right kingship theory, okay, divine right kingship theory, and therefore he wanted that his nobles would pay obeisance to him. आपल्या सरदारांनी आपल्या समोर झुकलं पाहिजे, obeisance पे केलं पाहिजे अशी बलबनची अपेक्षा होती. And therefore, okay, he asked to perform the sijda and paibos. Sijda is prostration, wakna. Paibos is kissing the feet of the king. Okay, these practices were started by the Balban. Okay, he discriminated against people who were low-born and reserved important offices only for the people with noble background. That is also true. Okay, it is stated that if a person with what we can say, if a person having low birth, okay, is brought before the Balban, his body will trample with the rage. म्हणजे एखादा लक्षात घे की निम्न वंशामधला, निम्न स्तरामधला व्यक्ती जर बलबन समोर आला, त्याचा अंग थरथर कापायचं असं सांगितलं जातं. Okay, so Balban disregarded, or Balban had followed this particular racial tinge, and therefore he had reserved offices, his important offices, only for the people with the higher birth. And therefore the third statement is also correct. The second and third, the first is wrong. Okay, option is 2 and 3. Okay, so now let's move to the next question. Okay, now let's discuss the next question. Pudza question घेऊयात आपण. With which of the following statements about Sangama age is incorrect? They had trade relations with Roman and exported perfumes, jewels, ivory, diamonds to them. Yes, the statement is correct. Okay, हे वाक्य जे आहे लक्षात घ्या. The statement is correct. Okay, Sangama age is known for their trade with the Roman people. Okay, we have several evidences. आपल्याकडे वेगवेगळे evidences आहेत जे दर्शवतात की संगम आणि रोमन यांचे काय म्हणू आपण त्याला की रिलेशनशिप होते. ऑगस्टस टेम्पल नावाचं एक टेम्पल आपल्याला या संगम प्रदेशामध्ये सापडतं. ओके, येस, अँड देयर आर सेव्हरल लिटररी रेफरन्सेस ॲज वेल. प्लिनी आहे किंवा मग पेरिप्लस ऑफ एरिथ्रियन सी मध्ये सुद्धा त्याचा उल्लेख केलेला आहे. The Brahmanas enjoyed, okay, no special privilege, okay, in the society. Okay, so that is also correct. So Sangama society is considered as the relatively egalitarian society because it was still in the primitive stages. Okay, and then condition of the woman was better than in North India, and there was absence of the child marriage in Sati. Okay, this statement is actually incorrect because many of the traditions of the North India, okay, North Indian culture, society, they had been, okay, filtered into, they had been percolated into the Sangam age society, and therefore this statement is, okay, incorrect one. Now let's move to next question. Next question. Okay, consider the following statements. Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, Gangubai Hangal, Vishnu Paluskar. Which of the following, which of the above belong to the Kirana Gharana of Drupad style of music? Okay, so this is basically, okay, 1 and 2. Pandit Bhimsen Joshi and Gangubai Hangal, okay, they belong to the Kirana Gharana of Drupad style of music, and Vishnu Paluskar, okay, he does not belong to the Kirana Gharana of the Drupad style music. Yes. Next question. Next question. Which of the following places is or are famous for the Jaina architecture? Yes, Jaina architecture, the Girnar, Mount Abu. These are the early medieval period. Jaina architectural elements are there. Pattadakkal, in Pattadakkal also we find, okay, Jaina elements. Pavapuri is famous Jaina shrine. In Khajuraho as well, the Jaina architectural elements are found. And Ajanta caves, though they are predominantly Buddhist in nature, some elements of the Ajanta caves, okay, they are Jaina in structure. And therefore, all of the above, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, this is the right answer. Okay, next question. Now, let's discuss the 19th question. Okay, which of the following statement is incorrect? Incorrect statement we have been asked to identify. Arthashastra was finally compiled during Chandragupta's reign. Okay, this statement is incorrect one. Chandragupta, if you consider Chandragupta Maurya or Chandragupta of the Gupta dynasty. Okay, let's discuss. But if it is considered as the Chandragupta of the Mauryan dynasty, okay, then definitely this statement is incorrect one. Okay, yes. After the we have been asked to identify the, okay. Let's discuss the 19th question now. Which of the following statement is or are incorrect? Arthashastra was finally compiled during Chandragupta's reign. Palibothra was a term used for wooden wall in the Mauryan age. Okay? Yes. So here the point is Arthashastra finally during the Chandragupta's reign. Here the opinion is, okay, there are several opinions regarding the identity of the Kautilya, Chanakya, identity of Kautilya, Chanakya or Vishnugupta. These are the names associated with the Arthashastra. So modern historians believe that the Kautilya and Chanakya might be the one, and Vishnugupta might belong to the post-Mauryan period. So the early version or early part of the Arthashastra that might be during the Mauryan age, and during the post-Mauryan period, okay, the final compilation of Arthashastra had taken place. Okay, that is the general consideration of the historians, modern historians, and therefore the first statement is incorrect. Palibothra was a term used for wooden wall in the Mauryan age. Actually, Palibothra, okay, it is the name of the Patliputra city, the capital of the Mauryans, okay, and the Megasthenes and other Greek historians, they are referred to Patliputra as the Palibothra. So Palibothra was a term used for the city of Patliputra. So you have been asked to identify the incorrect statement. Both 1 and 2 are incorrect statement. Okay, so now let's discuss the next question. Purcha question बघूयात आपण आता. Next question. Anekantavad is a core theory and philosophy of which of the following? Okay, it is very simple question. Jainism. Yes, Jainism. So here, as far as this ideology or Jaina theory is concerned, Jaina ideas, Jaina logic is concerned. So as far as the Jaina logic is concerned, Jaina logic is comprised of Anekantavada. Jaina logic चे 3 घटक असतात लक्षात घ्या. एक आहे अनेकांतवाद. Okay, the second is Syadavada, Anekantavada, Syadavada and Nayavada. Anekantavad, Syadavad and Nayavada. Okay, so Anekantavad, Syadavad and Nayavada. Okay, Naya means what? Naya means here the word Naya means facets of the knowledge. Naya is equal to facet of knowledge. Naya is the facet of knowledge. Syat is perhaps. Syat is perhaps. Syat is perhaps. Okay, I'll explain. Anekantavad. So Anekantavad is associated with particular idea of Andhagaja Nyaya. Okay, Andhagaja Nyaya. Okay, I'll try to explain here now. Okay, समजा काय म्हणू आपण त्याला की 6 आंधळे आहेत आणि त्यांच्यासमोर एखादा हत्ती उभा केला. Okay, elephant is there before the 6 blind persons. Okay, आणि त्यांना सांगितलं की आयडेंटिफाय. Okay, what object is there? तर समजा एखादा आंधळा काय करेल, पाठीला हात लावेल, तो म्हणेल की भिंत आहे. ओके, एखादा आंधळा त्याच्या शेपटीला हात लावेल, तो म्हणेल दोरी आहे. एखादा आंधळा पायाला हात लावेल आणि ही वुड से दॅट इट इज अ पिलर. ओके, इज एनीबडी अमंग देम इज करेक्ट? नो. बट इज एनीबडी रॉंग? इट इज ऑल्सो नॉट द केस. म्हणजे काय, कोणीच बरोबर नाहीये, कोणीच चुकीचं नाहीये. ओके, लक्षात घ्या. का? कारण एव्हरीवन इज लुकिंग टुवर्ड्स दॅट पर्टिक्युलर ऑब्जेक्ट, लुकिंग टुवर्ड्स द ट्रुथ फ्रॉम हिज और हर ओन पर्स्पेक्टिव्ह. प्रत्येकजण काय करतोय, त्याच्या पर्स्पेक्टिव्हमधून त्या गोष्टीकडे बघतोय आणि एका विशिष्ट पर्स्पेक्टिव्हमधून बघितलं की एखादी गोष्ट बरोबर वाटते, दुसऱ्या पर्स्पेक्टिव्हमध्ये बघितलं की ती गोष्ट चुकीची वाटते. मग नेमकी हीच गोष्ट महावीरांनी सांगण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे की देअर कॅन बी मल्टिपल पर्स्पेक्टिव्हज अँड ॲज देअर आर मल्टिपल पर्स्पेक्टिव्हज, ओके, नो वन शुड क्लेम दॅट his or her knowledge is the only truth. Okay, let's try to accommodate, okay, the opinions of others as well, the views of others as well, the knowledge of others as well, and this particular idea is basically idea of the Anekantavada, right? Okay, and from it, okay, the idea of the Syatavad emerges. So what is Syata? Syata is perhaps. So if I am correct, perhaps you are also correct, and if I am wrong, perhaps you are also wrong. Okay, so that is Syadavada. And then Nayavada. Nayavada is facet of knowledge, different multiple aspects of knowledge. So one aspect of knowledge is one Naya, and so on. So multiple facets of knowledge, that is Nayavada. Okay, so here Jainism. Okay, this particular idea is given by the Jainism. Okay, next question. Consider the following pairs: Mudra Rakshasa, okay, Kalidasa, Brihad Samhita, Varaha Mihira, Panchatantra, Vishnu Sharma. Which of the following are correctly matched? The play Mudra Rakshasa was written by, okay, not by Kalidasa but by Vishakadatta. Vishakadatta, I'll write here, not Kalidasa but by Vishakadatta. Okay, and Vishakadatta also had written another play known as the Devi Chandragupta. So there are two famous plays of the Vishakadatta. Okay, that is Devi Chandragupta and Mudra Rakshasa. Mudra Rakshasa is the story of, okay, story of defeat of Dhanananda, story of defeat of Dhanananda and rise of Chandragupta Maurya. Rise of Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, that is Mudra Rakshasa, and it is a drama. It is a drama without romance. It is a drama without romance. That is the special feature of this Mudra Rakshasa. Okay, yes, Bruhat Sahita. It is written by the Varaha Mihra. That is correct. A text on the mathematics and the astronomy. Panchatantra, a story literature written by the Vishnu Sharma. That is also correct, and therefore option number B, 2 and 3. This is the correct answer. Okay, now let's move to next question. Next question is, consider the following statement. Alauddin Khilji is best remembered for the experiment of market control through the introduction of token currency, okay, in the form of bronze and copper coins. Okay, Alauddin Khilji is known for the market reforms. That's it. That part is completely correct. But the token currency experiment is done by the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay, and therefore the first statement is incorrect. The silver tanka and copper jittal was introduced by the Iltutmish. That is true. The silver was considered as a real founder of the Delhi Sultanate. The Iltutmish is considered as the real founder of the Delhi Sultanate. तो दिल्ली सल्तनतचा खऱ्या अर्थाने संस्थापक मानला जातो, लक्षात घ्या. आणि त्याने ज्या काही गोष्टी केल्या, फॉर एक्झाम्पल ही हॅड शिफ्टेड कॅपिटल टू द दिल्ली. ओके, ही स्टार्टेड इक्ता सिस्टीम. त्याने काय काय केलं, इक्ता सिस्टीम त्याने सुरू केली होती. कॅपिटल दिल्लीला शिफ्ट केली लाहोरवरून, आणि त्याने ही हॅड इंट्रोड्यूस्ड द न्यू करन्सी एज वेल, अँड दॅट करन्सी इज बेसिकली टंका अँड द जित्तल, अँड देयरफॉर ही इज रिगार्डेड एज द, okay, what we can say, okay, he had introduced this particular coinage system. This statement is correct, and he is real founder of the Delhi Sultanate. Okay, हे वाक्य लक्षात ठेवा, हे महत्त्वाचं आहे. Next question is, consider the following statement in the context of parallel government established in Tamluk during the Quit India movement. Okay, a parallel government, okay, a parallel government, okay, set up in the Tamluk was named as Jatiya Sarkar. Okay, this particular statement is correct. It had a trained volunteer corps known as Bhagini Sena. No. Okay, and what we can say, it is basically what we can say reversed up. Okay, this statement is incorrect. It had a trained volunteer corps called as Bhagini Sena, and women's volunteer corps was called as the Vidyut Vahini. No, this statement is incorrect. Viplavi was the, okay, its mouthpiece used for the propaganda. That is correct. Satish Chandra Samanta, okay, lakshat kya. Okay, Satish Chandra Samanta was the person associated with this particular, what we can say, Jatiya Sarkar. Okay, and it was one among the most important parallel governments that were established during the course of the Quit India movement. And here, okay, you should remember in this particular context, you should remember a name, and the name is Matangini Hazara. Matangini Hazara was a brave old lady. Okay, she was a lady, okay, who had to face a bullet by the police in order to defend the Indian flag. भारतीय झेंड्याच्या रक्षणाकरता या मातंगिनी हजार नावाच्या एका वृद्ध स्त्रीनं आपले प्राणपण लावले होते, त्यांना जीव गमवावा लागला होता. येस, सो फर्स्ट अँड थर्ड स्टेटमेंट आर करेक्ट. ओके, द सेकंड स्टेटमेंट इज इनकरेक्ट, अँड देयरफॉर 1 and 3 is the right answer. Okay, so question, consider the following statements regarding the Buddhism. Buddhism was an organized religion where education was given the state patronage. You have been asked to identify the incorrect statement. Okay, yes. Buddhism was an organized religion where education was given the state patronage. Buddhism was the state religion of, okay, Tibet, China and Japan. Okay, yes. Buddhism was an organized religion where education was given the state patronage. Yes, that statement is correct. Okay, it was an organized religion, and we know that the three ratnas of the Buddhism, Buddha, okay, Dhamma and Sangha. Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. And through the institution of Sangha, the education was imparted, and okay, many rulers had supported these educational activities carried out through the Sangha, and therefore the first statement is correct one. And Buddhism was the state religion in Tibet, China and Japan. Yes, okay, during the course of its spread, okay, the many neighboring countries of the India, they had embraced the Buddhism and it was regarded as a state religion. And therefore, what we can say, the second statement is also correct. Earlier, China also had what we can say the Buddhism as a state religion, but eventually after the communist revolution in China, okay, that position is no longer there. But yet earlier it was so, and therefore you have been asked to identify the incorrect statement. So here both the statements are correct, and therefore neither. Okay, neither is the answer. Next question. Okay, yes, next question. Yes, which of the following foreign travelers visited Nalanda University? Okay, foreign travelers visited Nalanda University: Fahian, okay, Itzing, Ibn Battuta, and Yuan Sang. Yes, okay, the Chinese travelers, they had visited the Nalanda University. When Ibn Battuta, okay, when Ibn Battuta had visited, okay, the India, okay, Ibn Battuta had visited India during the period of the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and at that point of time, the Nalanda had already been destroyed. Okay, Nalanda had been destroyed already, and therefore the question of visit would not arise here. Okay, Nalanda तोपर्यंत ऑलरेडी नष्ट झालेलं आहे, त्या ठिकाणी रुइन्स होते, लक्षात घ्या की अवशेष शिल्लक होते, त्यामुळे तो जाण्याचा काही संबंध नाही आहे. Okay, now the question remains Fahian, Itzing, and Yuan Sang. When Fahian had visited, okay, Fahian had visited India during the period of Chandragupta II. Okay, Chandragupta II. Gupta Raja Chandragupta जो होता त्या काळामध्ये फाहियान भारतामध्ये होता. And at that point of time, the Nalanda was not established, not in existence. Nalanda, it was not in existence. एका बुद्धिस्ट विहाराच्या स्वरूपामध्ये होतं, but not in the form of the university. Okay, the Gupta king Kumar Gupta, okay, he had supported that vihara, and eventually the transition towards the university had started. And therefore, the question of Fahian or the Ibn Battuta visiting Nalanda, that question wouldn't arise. Now, yes, Yuan Sang, okay, he learned there, he visited, he got education there, and same is the case with the Itzing as well. And therefore, the correct answer is B, 2 and 4. Okay, yes. Now, let's move to the next question. चलो आता आपण 26 नंबरचा क्वेश्चन घेऊयात. Let's discuss the question number 26. The Khudai Khidmatgar, that is servants of God movement, was led by. Okay, the question was very much easier. The answer is Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. सोपा प्रश्न आहे. खान अब्दुल गफ्फार खान त्याचं उत्तर आहे. बघा, खुदाई खिदमतगार was a non-violent movement against the British occupation of the Indian subcontinent led by the Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, a Pashtun freedom fighter in the northwestern frontier province. He was also known as Frontier Gandhi, Sarhad Gandhi, Frontier Gandhi. And during the course of civil disobedience movement, okay, they had led the peaceful protest during the course of the civil disobedience movement. They had led the peaceful protest, and during those particular protests, okay, what do we say? या peaceful protest दरम्यान काय झालं होतं? Okay, the army was asked to fire upon them. Army was asked to fire on them, but okay, the Gadhwal regiment had refused. हे वाक्य लक्षात ठेवा. गढवाल रेजिमेंटनं ते फायर करायला नकार दिला होता. ओके, गढवाल रेजिमेंट रिफ्यूज्ड. ओके, डू रिमेंबर दिस पर्टिक्युलर पॉइंट which is important. Gadwal regiment refused to fire upon, okay, the what we can say Khudai Khidmatgars. Okay, these the members of these organizations, they wore red shirts, and therefore this organization is also known as the Red Shirts Organization. It is very, very important point. Now let's move to the 27th question. One of the principal mudras of this dance is Kataka Mukha Hasta, in which the 3 fingers are joined to symbolize, okay, the Om. Okay, Varanam is combination of dance and emotions and synchronized with Tala and Raga to express the story, okay, is the most important part of this dance. And Rukmini Devi Arundel was a famous artist of this classical dance. The answer is Bharatnatyam. This particular narration applies to the Bharatnatyam dance, in which this particular mudra, that is Kataka Hasta mudra, in which thumb, index finger and middle finger are touching each other, and remaining fingers are stretched up opposite to each other to form the, okay, Kataka mudra. Okay, Kataka Hasta mudra or Kataka Mukha mudra. Okay, that is the answer. Okay. Basically, in ancient India, what do you find during the Gupta age? During Gupta age, what do we find?
During Gupta age, we find the evolution of the Devdasi system. Do remember that. During the ancient times, we find the evolution of the Devdasi system. And Devdasis, they are considered as the wives of the god. Okay, during those times, the Devdasis were recognized as considered as the wives of the god, and they had respectable position. Okay, in the society, they were treated with the respect. But eventually, during medieval times, their position was downgraded. The Devdasi institution, okay, it became a kind of what we can say vilified institution. The Devdasis were exploited during the latter ages, but eventually in the 19th and the 20th century especially, there was an attempt to revive the Devdasi tradition in its pure original form. And this revival of Devdasi in its pure original form is basically the Bharatnatyam dance. It is also known as Sadhir. Sadhir or Bharatnatyam is basically the revival of those traditions. Do remember this particular point, which is very, very important one. Okay, so answer is Bharatnatyam. Now let's move to next question. Okay, though the earliest inscriptions are found on the sills of Harappa, which of the following inscriptions was first deciphered? Ashokan pillar of Meerut. Okay, the Meerut. Okay, the Ashokan pillar of the Meerut. Originally it belonged to the Meerut. Eventually it was brought to the Delhi in the Firoz Shah Kotla ground, and therefore it is known as the Delhi Meerut Ashokan pillar inscription, and that was first to be deciphered. Okay, Ashokan pillar is also found on the Allahabad, and in the same pillar, on the same pillar, the Samudragupta's inscription is also found. Okay, then other pillars, okay, they do not have much relevance with respect to this question. Answer is among the available option. The answer is A. Regarding the revolutionary activities in India, which of the following statement is correct? Ramoshi peasant force of Maharashtra, okay, aimed at removal of British government through the legal means. No. Okay, it was not legal means, it was a revolutionary force, okay, and this, what we can say, revolution was led by Umaji Naik, and therefore, the first statement is wrong. Lala Hardayal had established an India House in London to make Indian youth part of the freedom struggle, okay. No, he did not establish India House in London. His activities were concentrated in Canada and in US. Okay, his activities were, okay, in the Canada and in USA, and therefore, second statement is also incorrect. Bhagat Singh, okay, Bharat Singh established the extremist organization Anjuman-e-Mohizban-e-Watan. Okay, this also statement is correct, incorrect. Okay, and Ajit Singh, the uncle of the Bhagat Singh, had established an extremist organization known as the Anjuman-e-Mohabbat-e-Watan. Okay, Anjuman-e-Mohabbat-e-Watan. That organization was established that had encouraged, okay, the revolutionary activities, and they had started a particular journal known as the Bharata Mata as well. Okay, Bharata Mata. So this statement is also incorrect. The Berlin Committee for Indian Independence aimed to incite rebellion among the Indian troops to liberate the country from the British rule. Okay, this statement is correct. On the backdrop of the Gadar movement as well, itself, Gadar movement जेव्हा चालू होती, Gadar movement was the headquarter at Canada and then eventually USA. But eventually, the forces of the Gadar movement, okay, they were petered out. Okay, the Gadar movement got declined. But during the same period, okay, the certain revolutionary leaders, okay, they eventually, okay, started working for, okay, the incitement of the rebellion from another center, and another center would be, okay, Europe. And therefore, and we know that during the course of the First World War, the Britain and Germany, they were at loggerheads. एकमेकांना त्यांनी शिंग भिडवली होती, लक्षात घ्या, the Britain and the Germany. And therefore, they were at the loggerheads, okay, त्यांनी एकमेकांशी संघर्ष केलता. In such situation, okay, certain people with revolutionary mindset, they had thought that the Germany's enmity with the Britishers, it would be helpful for these revolutionaries to fight against the British imperialism in India, and therefore they joined hands with the Germany. The outcome was the, okay, what we can say, the establishment of the Berlin Committee of Indian Independence. Okay, so therefore Virendranath Chattopadhyay, famously known as the Chatto, okay, was behind this particular organization, and therefore the option D is correct. Next question. In the context of the new religious movement during the second half of the first millennium, who among the following was not a Nayanar? Okay, Appar and Manikkava Sagar were Nayanar, but Andal was the only, okay, woman, okay, among the 12. There were 12 Alwars and 63 Nayanars. Okay, okay, yes, 63 Nayanars were there and 12 Alwars were there, and Andal was the Alwar woman, lady, and therefore option B, one only, is correct. So what were Alwars and Nayanars? Okay, in South India, in early medieval period, there was a resurgence of the Bhakti tradition. If we see the roots of the Bhakti tradition, we find the roots of the Bhakti tradition in the post-Mauryan period, in the form of rise of Bhagavatism. Okay, but eventually, okay, that what we can say that rise of Bhagavatism was there in the North India in the post-Mauryan period, but eventually during the course of early medieval period, that intense emotional attachment, the element of intense emotional attachment got attached or got connected with this Bhakti tradition, and there was Bhakti resurgence of the Bhakti element in the South India. And this Bhakti element, okay, it got expressed through sects, okay, two sects, and those two sects were known as the, okay, Shaiva, that is Nayanara, and Alavara, that is Vaishnava. So worshippers of the Vishnu, his different forms were known as the Alavaras, and worshippers of the Shiva, they were known as the Nayanara. Okay, these two traditions had emerged. To begin with, there was intense conflict between these two groups, but eventually they had joined hands and strengthening the Bhakti tradition itself. Okay, and therefore this Alavara and Nayanara tradition, okay, these two traditions are very much important here. Okay, there are what we can say two particular ideas applied to these doctrines. Okay, one doctrine is Markata Kishore Nyaya and second is the Marjara Kishore Nyaya. What is Markata Kishore Nyaya? You must have seen the monkey, okay, and that child of the monkey, baby monkey. So the baby monkey is holding to its mother, and mother is carrying that particular child to the desired destination. Okay, same way, okay, that bhakta, the devotee must, what we can say, must take himself or herself to the God, okay, to the God, and then God will, what we can say, take the devotee to the desired destination, that is the destination of the moksha. So herein, the responsibility of holding lay with the devotee. म्हणजे लक्षात घ्या की ज्याप्रमाणे ओके माकडाचं पिल्लू, लक्षात घ्या की माकडाचं पिल्लू आपल्या आईला घट्ट धरून ठेवतं आणि मग ती माकडीन ओके ज्या ठिकाणी जायचं त्या ठिकाणी जाते, त्याचप्रमाणे भक्तांनी ईश्वराला घट्ट धरून ठेवलं पाहिजे. ती भक्ती आपली कधी नाही सोडली पाहिजे. ती जबाबदारी धरून ठेवण्याची जबाबदारी कोणाची आहे? भक्ताची आहे. अँड देन गॉड विल ओके टेक दॅट पर्टिक्युलर डिव्होटी ओके टू द डिझायर्ड डेस्टिनेशन. दॅट इज मर्कट किशोर न्याय. आणि मार्जार किशोर न्याय काय? ओके, इमॅजिन किटन अँड अ कॅट. ओके, मांजर आणि मांजरीची पिल्ल यांना इमॅजिन करा. व्हॉट डू वी फाइंड की मांजर आपल्या पिल्लांना दाताने धरते आणि घेऊन जाते दुसऱ्या ठिकाणी. त्या ठिकाणी दॅट होल्डिंग, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ होल्डिंग ले विथ द कॅट, म्हणजे या ठिकाणी काय असतं, आणि रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ बिलीफ ओके ले विथ द ओके किटन. म्हणजे काय, तर भक्तांनी आपल्या ईश्वरावर विश्वास ठेवला पाहिजे आणि ईश्वर आपल्या ओके भक्ताला डिझायर्ड डेस्टिनेशन पर्यंत घेऊन जाईल. दॅट मार्जारा किशोर न्याय. ओके, अशा प्रकारच्या आयडियाज या पर्टिक्युलर कॉन्टेक्स्ट मध्ये अप्लाय केल्या जातात. ओके, अँड दिस इज हाऊ ओके व्हॉट यू या उदाहरणांच्या माध्यमातून भक्ती प्रिन्सिपल्स लोकांपर्यंत पोहोचण्याचा प्रयत्न या संतांनी, या भक्ती परंपरेने ओके नयनार अलवारांनी केला होता. ओके, डू रिमेंबर, तो प्रश्न कदाचित एक्झाम मध्ये विचारला जाऊ शकतो. मार्जार किशोर नाय, मर्कट किशोर नाय हे कशाशी संबंधित आहेत? सो भक्ती ट्रेडिशन्स इन द साउथ इंडिया. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Indian Council Act of 1909 was instituted to placate the moderates and appeasement to disseminate Muslims from national movement by granting them separate electorates. That statement is totally correct. Okay, basically the government of India, sorry, my mistake, Council Act 1909, okay, it was instituted on the backdrop of the okay Swadeshi movement. We know that from 1905 to 1908, okay, there was this particular okay intense movement known as the Swadeshi movement. Okay, and during the course of Swadeshi movement, there was intense manifestation of the nationalism. The forces of nationalism were getting stronger. Okay, and therefore, okay, in order to okay cause split within the Congress, cause a rift within the Congress, okay, that is, the moderates must be separated from the extremists. The Britishers are promised certain reforms. Okay, Britishers promised certain reforms, and these reforms is basically 1909 Act. And therefore, the first statement is totally correct. Okay, do remember that. And okay, what we can say, the 1909 Act had provided separate electorate, and idea was to woo the Indian Muslims, to appease the Indian Muslims, and to what we can say, to keep Indian Muslims away from the Indian National Congress and make them loyal to the British rule. And therefore, the first statement is correct. It granted a franchise to unlimited number of people on the basis of property tax reduction. Okay, no, it was the franchise was not granted to the unlimited number. Okay, thus the word unlimited itself okay makes the statement false. Okay, on the basis of property tax and education, these are okay contradictory statement, and therefore the second statement is wrong. The first statement is correct. Okay, yes, next question. Which of the following statement is least appropriate with the reference to the Bahmani kingdom? The founder of the kingdom was Zafar Khan, a noble, okay, a noble under the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. No, the what we can say Hassan Gangu Shah Bahmani was the founder, and therefore the first statement is correct. Incorrect. The capital was shifted from Gulbarga to Bidar. Yes. The kingdom reached its peak under the Mahmud Gawan. He was a very efficient, okay, noble of the Bahmani kingdom, and during his period, the Bahmani rule reached its peak. That is also correct. The development of Persian style of architecture, which was later used by Deccan Sultans too, okay, that was also correct with respect to the Bahmani kingdom, and therefore the first statement is incorrect. The rest are correct. The paintings of the Ajanta. Next question. Consider the following statement regarding Ajanta and Ellora caves. The paintings of Ajanta cave predominantly belong to Buddhism, while Ellora is also related to Jainism and Hinduism along with the Buddhism. That is also true. Okay, Ajanta caves are predominantly, okay, Buddhist caves. Okay, predominantly Buddhist caves, and Ellora caves are associated with Jainism, Hinduism as well as the Buddhism. That is true. The sculpture on the wall of Kailash temple depicting the Ravana shaking Mount Kailasha is part of the Ellora caves. Yes, okay, this is that depiction, and that is correct. The blue color is absent from the Ajanta cave paintings. Okay, yes, not completely absent, but the case is here what we can say to have the blue color, a particular type of the stone, that is lapis lazuli, is required, and lapis lazuli is deficient in this particular region. It is not largely found, and therefore the blue color is largely absent. Okay, but we are taking this statement as what we can say in general, and therefore the third statement is correct. Okay, 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, sorry, yes, 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3, these statements are correct here. Okay, so question number 33. Okay, the statements, all the statements are correct. Now we shall move to next question. Which of the following were major reasons for British to capture the whole of India? Enormous profit, okay, from the trade in India. Yes, that is true. Okay, that was the motive. Okay, to fund its adventures in America? No. Okay, that is not the case. Personal ambitions of the individual leaders, and to challenge the imperialism, okay, of France and Russia. Okay, so let's consider the statements one by one. Okay, the question is okay, which of the following were major reasons for British to capture the whole of India? Whole of India. Yes, India had what we can say huge trade potential, and that is why the first statement is correct. Okay, so first statement. The second is itself, statement is itself eliminated. Okay, to fund its adventures in America. The adventures in America had already been started. Okay, what we can say, it was the time when Britishers were establishing their rule in India. They were actually withdrawing from the America. Okay, it was a period. We know that 1757 the Battle of Plassey was fought, and in 1775 the American Revolution had taken place, and American Revolution had resulted into the collapse of the British rule from the American colonies. It means that the collapse of the British Empire in America and rise of the British Empire in America, okay, they had coincided with each other, and therefore the second statement is incorrect. So here, okay, A and D are eliminated. Now option C is only remaining. Okay, the personal ambitions of individual leaders. Okay, yes, okay, the certain leaders of the British, what we can say, the political forces, what we can say, the kingly authorities, the prime ministers, they were what we can say inspired by the ideology of what we can say Pax Britannica. That is what we can say the creation of a huge British empire and to challenge the imperialism of France and Russia. That was also the motive, and therefore the British rule over India got consolidated in order to tackle the challenges posed by the France and Russia. Okay, in order to tackle the challenge of the France, Britishers had tried to capture the Sikkim, okay, and as well as the Burma. In order to tackle the challenge of the Russia, the Britishers tried to capture the Punjab, and therefore this statement is also correct. Okay. Then next question: Gandhi was given the title of Kaiser Hind immediately after he withdrew the non-cooperation movement. That is wrong. Okay, Gandhi had been given the title of Kaiser Hind in 1915, and therefore this statement is wrong. Lala Lajpat Rai presided over the Congress session that had approved the non-cooperation movement. Okay, yes, okay, that statement is actually correct. It was basically the Calcutta session. Okay, Calcutta session of the Indian National Congress. Calcutta session of the Indian National Congress that was held during 4 to 9 September 1920. It was a special session which was presided over by the Lala Lajpat Rai. So you have been asked to identify the incorrect statement. The first statement is incorrect, option A. Okay. Which of the following were the causes of the disintegration of the Gupta Empire? Rise of the Huna attacks, decline of the foreign trade, concentration of power at the center, issue of land grants to the Brahmana donis. Okay, so rise of the Huna attacks, that is correct. Okay, so there was this particular ruler Toramana Huna. Okay, Toramana Huna. Okay, and he was responsible for disruption, okay, of the integrity of the Gupta Empire. Decline of the foreign trade, that is also correct. Okay, there are certain evidences that clearly indicate that during the latter times of the Gupta period, the foreign trade had declined. Notice it is indicated by Mandasore inscription. Okay, so that is also the correct statement. Concentration of power at the center, that is actually incorrect, because what do we find? Okay, we find the rise of feudalistic tendency during the Gupta times, and feudalism is marked by, okay, what we can say, dissolution of power at the center, not the concentration of power at the center, and therefore the third statement is incorrect. Issue of land grant to the Brahmana donis, that was responsible for a decrease of the kingly authority, and therefore this statement is correct. So you have been asked to identify the correct statements. 1, 3, 4 is the answer, option number B. Okay, next question is, consider the following Bhakti saints: Dadu Dayal, Guru Nanak, who among the, and Tyagaraja, who among the above was or were preaching when the Lodi dynasty fell and Babur took over. So this question is associated with the first battle of Panipat. Okay, and the first battle of Panipat, okay, do remember that, election kya, पहिलं पानिपत युद्ध जे आहे ते, it was in 1526. So, okay, Dadu Dayal 1554 to 1603, option is eliminated. Yes, he was contemporary of Akbar, that is true. Akbar, Guru Nanak, 1469 to 1539, okay, it matches this particular period. Tyagaraja, during the course of 17th and 19th century, and therefore this is also eliminated. The option is B, 2 only. Next question. Okay, yes, in the context of Gomastha during the British India rule, which of the following statement is correct? They were the commission agents. Okay, they were the commission agents. Okay, commission agents who operated as a mediator between buyer and seller during internal trade in commodities. Okay, that is the first statement. Okay, then they were the mediators who settled disputes out of country by arbitration. Okay, that is not the case. These are officials who distributed wages to the Indian sepoys. That is also, okay, irrelevant. Now the question is, they were paid agents of the East India Company to supervise weavers in India, and they were commission agents who operated as mediator between buyer and seller during the internal trade in commodities. No. Okay, they were basically paid agents. Okay, basically what used to happen after their establishment, after the Battle of Plassey, and even before the Battle of Plassey, the British, what we can say, the British influence in Bengal and other parts was increasing, and the British East India Company officials, they would enter into contract with the weaver communities, and by that contract it would be decided that, okay, that particular Indian weaver, okay, he would produce the cloth only for the British East India Company, and then the compensation would be reimbursed by that company official. म्हणजे काय, तर जो पर्टिक्युलर काय म्हणून आपण त्याला विणकर असेल, तो कंपनीसाठी काम करेल आणि कंपनी त्याला त्याचे, ओके, काय म्हणून आपण त्याला की किंमत चुकवेल. आता ठरलेल्या कराराप्रमाणे, ओके, तो विवर काम करतो की नाही, whether or not the weaver is working according to the conditions of that agreement, okay, and paid official agent or a paid agent was appointed, and that paid agent was basically गुमास्ता. ओके, तो विणकर आपलं काम करतोय की नाही बघण्यासाठी त्या ठिकाणी एजंट नेमले जायचे, ते एजंट म्हणजेच गुमास्ते होते, हे लक्षात घ्या. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. With reference to society during the medieval India, consider the following statement. In medieval Indian society, Hindu were referred to as gentus in the English documents. That is correct. And therefore, immediately after the establishment of British rule, okay, they had formulated what is known as the Code of the Gentoo Laws. Okay, the translation of Hindu Dharma Shastras. It is known as the, okay, Halehad. Okay, there was this particular British official known as the Halehad. He had formulated, okay, codified that Code of the Gentoo Laws. The first statement is correct. During Mughals, there was no bar to intermarriages on racial grounds in the Muslim society. Okay, yes, okay, then the third, okay, what we can say, third statement is Muslim society had, okay, Muslim society had more internal mobility than their counterpart in Hindu society. Yes, okay, so here comparison is made, and therefore as compared to Hindu society, the Muslim society had more internal mobility, and therefore the third statement is correct. So if third statement is correct, the first statement is correct, the two must also be correct, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so during Mughals, okay, so idea is here, okay, Mughal rule was a kind of liberal one. Okay, Mughal rule was kind of liberal one, and as what we can say, as Islam had provided the principle of equality. There was racial considerations always had mattered. Okay, but at the same time, okay, there was the principle of equality in the Muslim community as well. and being liberal in nature during Muslim times, okay, what we can say, the intermarriages on racial grounds was also allowed, and therefore the second statement is also the correct one. Okay, next question. Okay, sometimes you have to find the answer through the options as well, and that was such question. Okay, who among the following were Swarajists? Okay, Motilal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, and Subhash Chandra Bose. Vallabhbhai Patel was no changer. Okay, and therefore he was not, okay, what you can say, Swarajist. Jawaharlal Nehru, Vittalbhai Patel, Subhash Chandra Bose. Okay, Jawaharlal Nehru was not the Swarajist. He was not pro-changer, not no changer, and therefore this statement does not apply to him. Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel. Okay, yes, again the same problem. Vallabhbhai Patel and Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, they were not. Vallabhbhai Patel was a no changer, and Jawaharlal Nehru, he was neither pro, neither no changer. Motilal Nehru, Vittalbhai Patel, and Subhash Chandra Bose. Okay, these are the pro-changers. These were pro-changers. So what is no changer, pro-changer? Okay, I will try to explain here. After basically, this what we can say, this particular strategy was charted out. Okay, strategy of the Indian national movement. This strategy was charted out by the Gandhiji, and this strategy is known as the truce struggle strategy. गांधीजींनी राष्ट्रीय चळवळीची स्ट्रॅटेजी कशी असली पाहिजे याचं मार्गदर्शन केलं होतं, लक्षात घ्या. आणि ते मार्गदर्शन काय आहे? द नॅशनल मुवमेंट विल मूव्ह लाईक दिस. देर वुड बी स्ट्रगल फेज, देर वुड बी ट्रूस फेज. ओके, त्या ठिकाणी एक स्ट्रगल फेज असेल, एक ट्रूस फेज असेल, पुन्हा एक स्ट्रगल फेज असेल, अँड सो ऑन. स्ट्रगल ट्रूस स्ट्रगल, स्ट्रगल ट्रूस स्ट्रगल असं हे चालत राहील अशी त्यांची गांधीजींचं म्हणणं होतं. सो ड्युरिंग द स्ट्रगल फेज देर वुड बी ऍक्टिव्ह अपोजिशन टू द ब्रिटिश रूल. दिस इज द ऍक्टिव्ह स्ट्रगल फेज, ऍक्टिव्ह स्ट्रगल फेज. But what about, okay, the truce, passive phase? What should we do, okay, during this particular passive phase? हा एक फार मोठा क्वेश्चन होता, लक्षात घ्या या राष्ट्रीय नेत्यांपुढे. तर मग ओके, जेव्हा सविनय कायदेभंगाची चळवळ संपलेली आहे, ओके, डू रिमेंबर दॅट आफ्टर द कन्क्लुजन ऑफ द एनसीएम द नॅशनल मुवमेंट हॅड एंटर्ड इनटू, ओके, दॅट पर्टिक्युलर पॅसिव्ह फेज. एनसीएम नंतर राष्ट्रीय चळवळ पॅसिव्ह फेज मध्ये आलेली आहे, लक्षात घ्या. आता अशा परिस्थितीमध्ये आपण काय केलं पाहिजे हा वाद निर्माण झाला. And there were two groups known as the pro-changers and the no-changers. Pro-changer and no-changer. Okay, no-changer, they had advocated that continuation of strategy of continuation of non-cooperation with the British rule. Non-cooperation with the British rule. हे त्यांचं म्हणणं होतं, लक्षात घ्या. Non-cooperation with the British rule. That is pro-changer. No-changer and pro-changers, okay, they had advocated the program of what we can say council entry, fighting election, council entry, and opposition to the government, opposition to government from within the assembly. That was the pro-changer program. Okay, yes, and that is why this particular strategy was charted out. So pro-changers, they had included, okay, Motilal Nehru, Vittalbhai Patel, Subhash Chandra Bose, Chittaranjan Das. Okay, so and these pro-changers, okay, they had formulated a particular group known as the Congress Khilafat Swaraj Party. And therefore they came to be known as the Swarajist. Congress Khilafat Swarajist Party. Congress Khilafat Swarajist Party was formulated by them. Yes, next question. Consider the following statement. English Weekly Nationalist was started by him. He was founder of Andhra Bank and he presided over the first INC session of the independence. Yes, it is Dr. Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. Pattabhi Sitaramaiah is the answer. Okay. After independence, after independence, he was the what we can say the first INC president. Okay, do remember this particular point. Yes. Okay, next question is, okay, arrange the following dynasties of the Vijayanagar kingdom in the chronological order. Okay, the order is Sangama, okay, then Suluva, Tuluva, and Aravidu. Sangama, Suluva, Tuluva, and Aravidu. Okay, during the Sangama time, the Vijayanagar Empire was, the foundation of the Vijayanagar Empire had taken place, and during the Aravidu times, there was the disintegration of the Vijayanagar Empire. So, okay, 2, 1, 4, 3. Okay, 2, 1, 4, 3. C is the option. Next question. In the context of modern empire, which of the following observations were made by Megasthenes? Okay, in his account Indica. The king's palace is made of wood and decorated with the stone carvings. Okay, that is true. During the Mauryan period, the wood was profusely used. Okay, and there was limited use of the stone. The occasions on which the emperor appears in public are celebrated with royal procession. That is also true. The king is normally surrounded by the armed woman. So all the three statements are correct. Megasthenes, okay, he was the representative of ambassador of the Seleucus Nicator, a Greek king which was defeated by the Chandragupta, who was defeated by the Chandragupta Maurya after Chandragupta Maurya's accession to the throne. Okay, eventually this Megasthenes, he visited the Patliputra. He had observed several elements of the Mauryan polity, Mauryan society, or the what you can say Indian society, Indian polity, Indian economy during the Mauryan times, and he wrote his famous text known as the Indica. But this Indica is not in existence today. Okay, it eventually went to the oblivion. नंतर ते नष्ट झाली. Okay, काय म्हणून आपण त्याला की अंधारात गेलं. Indica हे साहित्य उपलब्ध नाहीये, लक्षात घ्या. It went into the oblivion, and eventually what do you find? Okay, there was appearance of another Greek authors known as okay Arrian, Strabo, Pliny, etc. Okay, यासारखे authors नंतरच्या काळामध्ये आले होते. And what we can say, they had referred to the Megasthenes' account. The Megasthenes' account चा reference दिलेला आहे, हे लक्षात घ्या. Okay, these are important points. Consider the following points. Statements regarding the architecture of Vijayanagar Empire. Vijayanagar Empire architecture, it is known as the Provida style architecture. Okay, Provida style architecture. Provida architecture is its unique elements. Okay, unique elements, and because of that uniqueness, it is known as the Provida. The Kalyan Mandapam and Raya Gopuram are the important features of it. Okay, yes, Kalyan Mandapam, Raya Gopuram. Raya Gopuram is a huge gopur, huge gateway, and therefore Raya Gopuram. And Kalyana Mandapa, where deity and what we can say, deity and the what we can say the partner or the what we can say the associated deity of the principal deity, when they would come together, that coming together is celebrated in the Kalyana Mandapa. Okay, the deity and its wife or the spouse, let's say. So Kalyana Mandapa, that coming together is celebrated into the Kalyana Mandapa. Vithala Swami, the first statement is correct. Vithala Swami and Hazarara Swami temples are the best examples of Vijayanagar Empire architecture. That is also correct. Both 1 and 2 are the correct statements. In the context of Mopla rebellion, consider the following statements. Mopla rebellion was merged with the non-cooperation movement due to its secular nature. Yes, Mopla was a part of non-cooperation. It was considered as a part of non-cooperation, but it was not secular. Okay, rather it had acquired a kind of communal tinge, because Moplas were the poor poor Muslim peasants, and what we can say, these Muslim peasants, they were suppressed by what we can say rich Hindu Jendmis, that is Zamindar class, and therefore, okay, what we can say, it was basically an agrarian struggle, but when it had developed, it eventually took the communal term. Okay, the next Athiyavadi, Sampradayavadi Swarup tala prapta zalta, and therefore this statement is incorrect. The Mopla meetings were addressed by the leaders of non-cooperation movement. That is true. The leaders of the non-cooperation movement, leaders of the Khilafat movement, they had addressed the Moplas. They inspired Moplas to fight against the injustice, and Moplas started fighting against the injustice, and that had resulted into what is known as the Mopla rebellion. So second statement is correct one. Next question. Okay, it was with reference to Welby Commission. Consider the following statement. It was set up to investigate the events that led to the start of Swadeshi movement. No, the what we can say, Welby Commission was established in 1895 to inquire about the Indian expenditure. So Swadeshi movement had nothing to do with the Welby Commission. Okay, that is why the first statement is wrong. It included Dadabhai Nauroji as its member. Okay, that is true. Okay, so you have been asked to identify the correct statement, and option B is the correct one. Next question. Which of the following is or are correct regarding the King Kharvela? Okay, King Kharvela, he was the ruler of the post-Mauryan times, post-Mauryan period. Okay, he had ruled the Kalinga region. He belonged to Mahameghavahana dynasty. Mahameghavahana dynasty. Okay, he was the ruler of Kalinga kingdom during the Mauryan period. So this statement is wrong. Okay, the Hathi Gumpha inscription provides information about his rule and conquest. That is true. He was Jaina by religion. Okay, the second statement is correct. So you have been asked to identify the incorrect statement. The first is incorrect statement, option number 1. Next question. Consider the following statements regarding Bhavana theatre form. Bhavana owes its origin to the unique genre of plays evolved by Vaishnava saint Shankardeva. That is true. In Assam region, what we can say, the Bhakti tradition had took the form of the, what we can say, the cult of the Shankar Deva, or what we can say, tradition established by the Shankar Deva, and it had resulted into what we can say a peculiar form of the, what we can say, the art and culture, that is Bhavana. It is unique genre of the plays. In Bhavana, cultural glimpse of Mathura and Vrindavana can be seen. That is also true. Okay, it is a kind of dance drama with songs and dialogues in the, okay, Brajavali. So all the options are correct here. Okay, what we can say, it is a part of, it had evolved as a part of medieval Bhakti traditions. Okay, it is the ritual play in the Assam region. Okay, and it owes, okay, its origin to the, what we can say, Vaishnava Saint Shankar Deva. Okay, it was associated with, what we can say, the Bhakti Krishna tradition, Krishna Bhakti tradition, and that was also, what we can say, involved the Krishna gopis and associated elements. Okay, yes. Next question. Okay, with reference to the Delhi Sultan, which of the following statement is or are correct about the Firoz Shah Tughlaq? Iqtidari system was abolished by him? No. Rather, what we can say, he had made the position of Iqtidar hereditary in character. Okay, rather it had expanded, had perpetuated under him. Therefore, the first statement is correct. Incorrect. He established a Diwani Amir Kohi for the development and upgradation of the agricultural methods. Okay, yes, this statement is also incorrect because this Diwani Amir Kohi department was established by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq is known for the introduction of this department. He imposed the jizya on the Brahmins for the first time. That is true. Traditionally, the Brahmins, okay, in Indian traditions, in Indian system, the Brahmins were exempted from the taxes. But it was Firoz Shah Tughlaq, he imposed a jizya on the Brahmins. Bengal became independent from Delhi Sultan during his reign. That was also true. The Firoz Shah Tughlaq, okay, he had, what we can say, abandoned the war policy. Okay, officially he declared that he is going to abandon the policy of war and conquest. Okay, and therefore what we can say, during his time, okay, the secessionist tendency got predominated, especially in Bengal, and Bengal became free. Okay, so the option on the statement 4 is also correct. So 3 and 4 option, okay, number D. Next question. Which of the following temple is or are associated with the Chalukyas? Okay, Melagatti Shivalaya, Hucci, Malagudi, Meguti, Ladakhan, Papanatha, Virupaksha, and Ananteshwara, okay, temple. Yes. Apart from, what we can say, Ananteshwara temple, all the temples were associated with the Chalukyas. Okay, Chalukyan. It is a part of Chalukyan architecture. Okay, what are the essential features of the Chalukyan architecture? In Chalukyan architecture, pillars are monolithic shaft, ornamental vestibules are there, highly decorated doorway panels are present on the Chalukyan temples. Arabesque design, okay, that is decoration of flower, leaves, branches of the twisted branches, and this particular style is taken from the Islamic elements. The Chhajja, a double carved projective cave, both cave, okay, temple design is structural, okay, temple design combination of cave tradition as well as the temple tradition. Okay, so all these elements are found, okay, in these particular temples. And Chala. Okay, now let's discuss the next question. In the context of the medieval history of India, which of the following is or are correct with reference to Jahangir's reign? The Hindu rulers were given higher ranks in the Mughal aristocracy. That is true. In this particular regard, या particular बाबतीमध्ये जहांगीरनं अकबराची पॉलिसी कंटिन्यू, टॉलरंट पॉलिसी आपण ज्याला म्हणतो, राजपूत पॉलिसी आपण ज्याला म्हणतो, that had continued, and therefore the first statement is correct. The painter Ustad Mansoor, okay, worked during his reign. That is also correct. Jahangir is in the field of art and architecture. Jahangir's time is known for, what we can say, the promotion of the painting. Jahangir himself had, what we can say, as he himself had claimed he was a good painter. Okay, and therefore the second statement is also correct. The Sikh Guru Arjun Dev was executed at his order. That is also correct because the Guru Arjun Dev, okay, he had supported the rebellious Prince Khusro, and that was not acceptable for the Jahangir, and therefore, okay, the third statement is also correct. Option number C. Next question, which of the following pairs are correctly matched up? Vangala, okay, what we can say, harvest festival in one column, harvest festivals are given, and in second column, the related states are given. Vangala, Hareli, Kut, and Onam, Meghalaya, Assam, Manipur, and Tamil Nadu. Okay, Vangala festival of Meghalaya is the most popular festival among the Garo tribe of the Meghalaya. Vangala festival is a harvest festival held in the honor of, okay, Saljong, the sun god of the fertility. That is Wangla or Vangala festival. Hareli festival of the Chhattisgarh, okay, is celebrated with great pomp and gaiety in the Chhattisgarh. The word Hareli comes from the Haryali in Hindi, which means the greenery. The Kuta festival is celebrated by the tribes of Kuki Chin Mizo groups of the Manipur. It is celebrated on the 1st November to honor the blessings of deity for a good harvest every year. And Onam is the festival celebrated in the state of Kerala. Okay. So now, if this description is considered, Wangla, Meghalaya, that statement is correct. Hareli is Chhattisgarh, not the Assam, and therefore this pair is correct. Kut, Manipur, that pair is correct, and Onam is Kerala, and therefore fourth pair is incorrect. Option number C is the answer. Yes. Okay, next point. With reference to the temples outside the India's present boundary, consider the following statements with spread to the Indian culture in the Southeast Asian, okay, Southeast Asian region temple, okay, temple were also erected that has dominant elements of Dravidian style of the Indian temple architecture. That is true. We know that in fact, okay, during the Chola times, okay, Gupta times onwards, the Indian cultural elements, they began to spread outside the India, especially in Southeast Asia, and the process had reached its peak during the Chola time, and therefore the first statement is correct. Okay, yes. Okay, the first statement is correct. The Angkor group of temple was built, okay, in the period of Shailendra kingdom of the Sumatra. Okay, that is wrong. Okay, that is wrong, because what we can say, the Angkor group of temple, Shailendra dynasty, it was in the Sumatra, that is present day Indonesia, and the Angkor group of temple, it does not belong to the Indonesia, rather it is Cambodia, and therefore the second statement is incorrect. The Priyavihara temple is dedicated to the manifestation of Lord Shiva, that is correct, and remained boundary dispute between Cambodia and Thailand, okay, that is also correct. Later awarded to Thailand, that is incorrect. It was awarded to the Kampuchea, that is Cambodia, and therefore this statement is incorrect. You have been asked to identify the incorrect statement. The second and third statements are incorrect. Okay, next question. Okay, consider the following statements about the rule of Kushana. They had issued the gold coins with higher degree of metallic purity than those issued by the Guptas. This statement is, okay, what we can say, correct. They were the first rulers in India to issue coins which can be definitely attributed to the kings. No, this statement is incorrect. Thus credit goes to Indo-Greeks, and therefore second statement is incorrect. They portrayed a king on the obverse and deity on the reverse side of the coin. If you see, this is the Kushana coin, and therefore the third statement is correct. Option number C, 1 and 3. Okay. Next question. Next question. Arrange the following in the chronological order. Introduction of the portfolio system. Introduction of the system of direct recruitment to the ICS through competitive exam. Establishment of a federal court. Introduction of the diarchy. Introduction of diarchy. Okay. What we can say. Introduction of diarchy, it was in 1919. Establishment of federal court under government of India Act 1935. Introduction of the system of direct recruitment to ICS through the competitive exam, okay, it is 1964. And introduction of the portfolio system, 1959. Okay, so 1, 2, 4, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 4, 3. That is the answer here. 1 to 1859. 1859. It should be 1859. 1864. I'll correct this. Okay. Introduction of the portfolio system. It was in 1859. Introduction of what we can say system of direct recruitment. It was in 1864. Establishment of federal court 1935. Introduction of diarchy 1919. Okay. Yes. So 1, 2, 4, and then 3. Okay. This is the correct sequence. Next. Okay. Next is, which of the following statements regarding the organization of local government under the reign of Akbar are correct? The Faujdar was in charge of the law and order. Okay, that is Faujdar. Faujdar was the officer, okay, who looked after the, what we can say, the functions, the responsibility of law and order. Okay, yes, Jagirs were allotted to the nobles and members of the royal family, excluding the queens. Okay, that is not correct. Okay. So rather, Jagirs were allotted in the distant lands and mansabs were allotted to the nobles. Okay, income from Khalisa villages directly went to the royal exchequer. That statement is correct because Khalisa means crown land. The meaning of the Khalisa itself is the crown land, and therefore the third statement is correct. Okay, the option is B, 1 and 3. Okay, that is the explanation. Next question. Which of the following statement is correct okay, regarding the Neolithic period. The people during this period were predominantly hunters and gatherers. Okay, you have been asked to identify the correct statement, Neolithic period. Predominantly hunters and gatherers. During this particular period, the practices associated with the agriculture or farming had started. Okay, the domestication of animal was not known during this period. Okay, this is incorrect. The pottery was not known to the people during this period. That is also incorrect. Okay, during this particular period, we find, okay, handmade pottery. Handmade, eventually wheel thrown pottery was also found during this particular Neolithic period. Wheel thrown. The period is significant for its megalithic architecture. Okay, so what we can say, the first statement is incorrect. Okay, the second statement is incorrect. The third statement is also incorrect. Okay, yes, the period is significant for its megalithic architecture. At some, what we can say, at some places, what do we find? What we can say, there are significant burials associated with the Neolithic times. Okay, that does not clearly indicate that they belong to the Neolithic culture, but the times overlap. Okay, okay, for example, okay, certain megalithic sites and the Neolithic cultures, they are contemporary to each other. So period is significant for its megalithic architecture. Okay, this statement can be considered as the correct one. Okay, yes. Next question. Okay, consider the following statements regarding the rule of the Rashtrakuta Amogha Varsha, ruler of the Rashtrakutas Amogha Varsha 1. Okay, he set up a new capital at Manyakheta. Okay, that is true. He got converted to Buddhism. No, he was the follower of the Jainism, and therefore the second statement is incorrect. Okay, Broch became the best part of the kingdom during his reign. That is true, and he had administered certain Arab officials in that particular region. Okay, Sanjan plate copper inscription is associated with this particular ruler. So 1 and 3 are the correct statements. Next question. Okay, consider the following statements about Satavahanas. They continued the administrative pattern of the Mauryas. Okay, more or less they had done so. Okay, so first statement can be considered as the, okay, correct one. They were the first rulers to make tax-free land grants to the religious merit. That is also true. Okay, those were known as Devadanas. Okay, Devdanas. Okay, and Brahmadeya land grants. Devdana and Brahmadeya land grants. Kalyani was an important port. Here it should be Kalyan. Kalyan was an important, Kalyana was an important port on the west coast during this period. That is also correct. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, next question is, he organized a foreign cloth boycott movement in Bombay as early as 1896, followed by a no tax campaign for farmers in case of crop failure. He argued that Vedas have an archaic origin. He proposed that Hindi should be national language of India. Okay, this statement is associated with which of the following freedom fighter personality? The answer is Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Basically, what had happened in 1896, what had happened? Okay, suppose what we can say, British goods, okay, British goods, okay, which were sold in the Indian markets. Okay, British goods which were sold in the Indian markets, and okay, Indian goods, okay, and Indian goods, those were sold in the British markets. Indian goods, okay, which were sold in the British markets. British markets. So what was the policy of British government? Suppose this is the tax rate, okay, T is the tax rate. So what Britishers had done, okay, Britishers had, okay, reduced the tax rate, okay, Britishers had reduced the tax rate by 3.5%, T minus 3.5%. And in case of what we can say, in case of the export of Indian goods into the British market, that increased the, okay, tax rate by 3.5%. So as far as the import of the British goods into the Indian market is concerned, the tax rate was reduced. And as far as the export of the Indian goods into the British market is concerned, the tax rate was increased. And okay, against this injustice, the Tilak had organized what we can say, the movement in 1896. During the same period, there was a famine-like conditions, and there was a crop failure. There was famine, there was a crop failure, and therefore he had organized a, okay, no tax campaign, okay, because of the crop failure due to the famine, okay, and then he also had proposed that Hindi should be national language. He had written the Arctic home of the Vedas, and in that particular book, he had claimed that the Vedas had the Arctic origin. So all these statements are associated with the Lokmanya Tilak. With reference to the later Vedic period, consider the following statements. Women were not permitted to attend the sabhas and samitis. That is true. Okay, earlier during the Rigvedic times, they were allowed to do so, but now they were disallowed. The rituals and sacrifices became more elaborate in this period. That is also correct. The marriages within the Gotra, okay, was allowed. That is not correct. The Sagotra marriages were not allowed, okay, during this time. And therefore, first and two, okay, these only two statements are correct one. Next question. Permanent settlement considered zamindars owners of the entire land of their zamindari. Zamindars found it very difficult to pay the high tax and many lost their zamindari. That is also true. Under zamindari system, the state was ultimate, okay, tax collecting authority, or ultimately all the revenues would go to the state through the agency of collector. In this system, zamindar is considered as the owner, proprietor of the land, okay, and okay, he would possess the land and he would give that particular piece of land to the peasant on, okay, rent. So peasants would pay zamindar rent and zamindar would pay state the revenue. Okay, that was the zamindari system. And zamindar was considered as the, what we can say, the owner of this particular piece of land. Okay, but the rate of taxation, okay, the rate was higher. Okay, rate was very high. At the same time, there was this particular provision of sunset law. What is sunset law? Okay, zamindar was required to pay the taxes, okay, on time, okay, objectively on time only. Okay, if he fails to make the payment on time, his land would be confiscated. जर जमीनदार वेळेवर कर नाही देऊ शकला, त्याची जमीन जप्त करून टाकली जायची, हे लक्षात घ्या. आणि त्याच्यामुळे they found it very difficult to pay the high tax and many lost their zamindari. So both 1 and 2 statements are correct here. Next question. Okay, लक्षात घ्या, with reference to the Indian traditional art, which of the following is not a typical scroll painting? Okay, so patti chitra is example of the scroll painting. Cherial painting is also, okay, that is, okay, what we can say, patti chitra. Okay, then cherial painting. Okay, this is the manifestation of the cherial painting. It is also considered as a part of the scroll painting. Scroll painting कापडाच्या किंवा कागदाच्या एका स्क्रोलवर काय म्हणून आपण त्याला त्या ठिकाणी, ओके, एखादा कापूस किंवा एखादा एलिमेंट घेऊन त्या ठिकाणी सोकिंग टेक्निकच्या माध्यमातून, okay, whatever mean is to be used, the technique of soaking is used in this particular type of painting. It is known as scroll painting. Okay, Prashasti Patra, it is found in the Gujarat, but Varli painting is not an example of the scroll painting. Okay, therefore D is the answer, but the rest are the examples of scroll painting. Yes, next question. Okay, which of the following is or are the features of the Rajput architecture during the Mughal period? Hanging balconies. Okay, yes, hanging balcony is the example of the Rajput architecture, and arched cornices. These are the arched cornices, and that is also the feature. Okay, so 1, 2. The kiosks on the top of construction, that is not the feature, and fluted domes, that is also not the feature of the, okay, Rajput architecture during the Mughal period. Rather, these are the, okay, features during the early medieval period, early Nagara, okay, style of architecture, and therefore, okay, what we can say, the 3 and 4 are not applicable. 1 and 2 are applicable. Option number A. Next question. Okay, we'll move to next question. In the context of the Pala rule in India, consider the following statement. The Pala rulers of Bengal followed Hinayana Buddhism. That statement is incorrect because they had followed what we can say Tantric Buddhism, which was offshoot of the Mahayanism, and therefore the statement is incorrect. University at Vikramshila and Odantipur were built under the Pala rulers. That is correct. The Pala rulers were mainly Buddhist and did not build Hindu temples. That is incorrect. Okay, for example, there is this, what you can say, one example of Siddheshwara Mahadev temple, a very typical and a characteristic example of the Pala architecture. Okay, it is found in the West Bengal. Okay, there are many other temples. Okay, and therefore the third statement is incorrect. You have been asked to identify the correct statement. 2 only is the answer. Okay, next question. The Delhi proposal of the Muslim League and the Jinnah's 14 points differed on the issues of separate electorates. Okay, then the Hindu Mahasabha was in favor of a unitary political structure with residuary powers, okay, to the center. Okay, you have been asked to identify the correct statement. So basically, Delhi proposal. What was Delhi proposal and what was Muslim League's Delhi proposal of the Muslim League and Jinnah's 14 points? Okay, the separate issue of the separate electorate. So the question is, what exactly was the basis of this particular debate? So what we can say, okay, we know that in November 1927, there was declaration of the announcement of the Simon Commission. Simon Commission was announced, and after and we know that the Simon Commission did not incorporate any Indian as its member. Simon आयोगामध्ये एकही भारतीय सदस्य नव्हता, हे आपल्याला माहिती आहे. And that was presented by the Indian people, and that resentment eventually had resulted into the formation of the Nehru Committee. भारतीय लोकांनी नाराजी व्यक्त केली आणि त्या नाराजीतून काय झालं, नेहरू कमिटीचं संघटन झालं आणि दॅट नेहरू कमिटी इव्हेंच्युअली हॅड कम अप विथ अ पर्टिक्युलर document report known as the Swaraj Samvidhan, also known as the what we can say Nehru report. This Nehru report, okay, this Nehru report, it had what we can say advocated the cancellation of the separate electorate for Muslims, and it had what we can say asked for the reserved seats for the Muslim community, and that was not acceptable to what we can say the Muslim League as well as the Jinnah's 14 points. But what we can say on the issue of okay, the proportion of the separate electorates means Muslim League, okay, the Delhi proposal of the Muslim League and Jinnah's 14 points. To begin with, okay, they had differed on the certain common issues. Okay, earlier what had happened, the Jinnah initially had cooperated with the Nehru report. Okay, but when and at that particular part of time, the Muslim League led by the Muhammad Shafi, okay, that Muslim League had opposed the Nehru report, and therefore there was a conflict between the two. Eventually, Jinnah also had differences with the report of the Nehru committee. He had joined the what we can say the Muslim League again, and then he had presented his 14 points. But okay, over the issue of representation of the Muslims in those particular electorates, there was a difference between the Muslim League and the Jinnah's 14 points, and therefore the statement 1 is correct. The Hindu Mahasabha was in favor of unitary political structure with residuary powers to the center. That is also correct. Hindu Mahasabha stood for the unitary political structure because what you can say, unitary political structure would bring out the stability. At the same time, as far as the overall politics of the India is concerned, as Hindus were in majority, this particular structure would give strength to the Hindu community being the part of the majority. And the residuary powers to the center means again at the center, what we can say, as far as the communal politics is concerned, what the leaders of the Hindu Mahasabha had thought that at the provincial level, in certain provinces, the Muslim League would be predominant force. But in other or overall India, when we consider the overall Indian political picture, so as the Indian Hindu community is the predominant in number, and therefore there would be what we can say, if the strong government is there, it would result into the what we can say political domination of the Hindu community, and therefore, Hindu Mahasabha held this view, and the second statement is also correct. Yes. Next question. Which of the following are the Paleolithic sites in India? Pallavaram, yes, that is true. Pallavaram is the what we can say Paleolithic site. Many interesting finds have been found at the Pallavaram. Hungsi Valley, which is in Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Bhimbetka, Pallavaram near Madras. Near Madras. All these are the Paleolithic sites 1, 2, and 3. Now, let's discuss the 68th question. Arrange the following battles fought by Babur in chronological order. The Battle of Panipat, Babur versus Ibrahim Lodi. It is known for the Tulguma tactics by which the Lodi dynasty fell and Mughals took over. So, Battle of Panipat. Then there was Battle of Khanua against the Rana Sangha of Mewad. Rana Sangha versus Babur. Then there was Battle of Chanderi, against the Medin Rai. It was fought by Babur. All these battles were fought by the Babur, Medin Rai. And then Battle of Ghagra, it was fought against the Afghans. So answer should be 3, 4, then 1 and 2. 3, 4, 1, 2. It should be 3, 4, 1, 2. So yes, Battle of Panipat, then Battle of Khanua, then Battle of Chanderi, and Battle of Ghagra. Next question. Consider the following rebellions and areas of those rebellions. Veluthampi's revolt. Veluthampi's revolt is basically Travancore. So first pair is incorrect. Veluthampi's rebellion. It is in Travancore. Parlakemudi rebellion is in Ganjam. And Gadkari's revolt, it is in Kolhapur. So 2 and 3. These are the right option. Option number D is the correct answer. Next question. Next question is, which among the following was or were the consequences of the third battle of the Panipat? Decentralization of the Maratha power. That is true. Loss of leadership was there. Important nobles. Important leadership. They had lost the leadership, and it had resulted into decentralization of the Maratha power, internal strife, and that internal strife eventually was taken advantage of by the Britishers, resulting into the first, second, third Anglo-Maratha war, and therefore the first statement is correct. Consolidation of the East India Company in northwestern India. This statement is irrelevant. attack of the Nadir Shah, it was in the 1739, and that is what is also incorrect. So A only is the answer. Next question. Okay, which of the following ornaments were worn exclusively by women but not men under the Indus Valley civilization? Okay, earring should be the answer. It is interesting, a fact. Okay, interesting fact. So C, earring is the answer. Okay, next question. Consider the following statements regarding trade and industry under the Delhi Sultanate. Currency system was strong and based on the silver tanka and copper dirham. Okay, that is true. Okay, so silver tanka, copper dirham. The tanka, this currency was introduced by Iltutmish. Cambay in Gujarat was famous for raw silk and fine cotton cloth. Basically, this statement applies to Sonargaon in Bengal, and therefore second statement, okay, second statement is incorrect here. The production of textile was also improved by the introduction of spinning wheel. That is true. Okay, the spinning wheel, okay, this particular technique was what we can say the characteristic feature of the medieval, and therefore the third statement is correct. Option B, 1 and 3 is correct. Yes, next question. With reference to the Shreni or guild system in ancient India, consider the following statement. The king had central authority over all the Shrenis registered with the state. Yes, being head of the state, the king had authority over the Shrenis. Shrenis also served as a bank for the merchants in which only rich male members could deposit. Okay, that is not the case. Rich male members असं काही कुठे दिलेलं नाहीये, and therefore this statement is not applicable here. The Shrenis had executive, okay, regulatory and judicial power or its own members. Okay, that is also correct. They had acted as a state within the state. They had acted as state within the state, and therefore this statement is correct. Okay, 1 and 3. Next question is with reference to the princely state during the British India. Consider the following statements. The Butler Committee was set up to examine the nature of relationship between princely states and government. Okay, that is correct. On the basis of its recommendation, the federal structure, okay, federal structure was recommended by the, okay, what we can say, the 1935 Government of India Act, and it had provided certain conditions that if the princely states agreed to be a part of that federal structure, then only such federation would come into existence. And as princely states refused to be a part of that federation, the central part or the part associated with the central government in the Act of 1935 could not come into the existence. The policy of subordinate union forced the Indian states to surrender all the forms of internal and external sovereignty. Okay, the all the forms is not correct. Okay, yes, in case of what you can say internal administration, they had retained a certain autonomy, and therefore the second statement is incorrect. The ring fence policy involved creating buffer zones to protect the company's borders. That is also true. Okay, in the name of that policy of ring fence, the Britishers could create the buffers, okay, and so that they could, okay, protect their territories from another invading state. For example, Awadh served as buffer, okay, buffer for Britishers, okay, against the or from, okay, Maratha invasion, against the Maratha invasion. To protect the Britishers from the Maratha invasions, the Awadh had acted as a buffer state. So 1 and 3 statements are correct. Okay, next question is absence of the leg is unique feature of the Kathaputali dance. Okay, it is again an interesting fact, okay, that one should know. Okay, अशा प्रकारच्या प्रश्नासाठी you should either know it, either you know it or you don't know it. अशा प्रकारचे हे लक्षात घ्या. Absence of leg is a part of, okay, is the unique feature of the Kathaputali dance. Okay, 76 question. Okay, match the list 1 with the what we can list 2. In list 1, dancer is given, and in list 2, the related dance is given. Okay, that the Kala Mandalan, okay, Shemavati, she is associated with the Mohiniyattam dance. Okay, then, okay, Kotakkala Shivarama, he is associated with the Kathakali dance. Okay, then Lakshmi Vishwanathan, okay, she is associated with the Bharatanatyam, and Madhava Devi, okay, she is associated with the, okay, Manipuri. So 3, 1, 4, 2 is the answer. Option number B. Okay, next question. My question. The first Factory Act for restricting working hours of the women and children and authorizing local government to make necessary rules was adopted during the Ripon's time. Okay, first Factory Act 1882, first Factory Act. Okay, and what we can say during that particular time, what had happened, the Indian textile industry was booming, and that in the what we can say the development of the Indian textile industry that was hurting the interests of the British textile industrialists, and therefore they had put pressure on the British government, okay, to bring out certain, okay, labor reforms, so that in the name of protection of labor, okay, it would result into what we can say the production of the Indian cloth into a costly affair, and this is how an attempt was made to provide a respite to the British industrialist, okay, and therefore an act was enacted known as the, what we can say, Factory Act. That was during the Ripon's time. Okay, next question. The Indian Muslims in general were not attracted to the extremist movement because of the extremist movement. Jahal Chawla, आपण ज्याला म्हणतो militant nationalist of the extremist movement. Influence of the Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. No, after 1899, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was no longer there, and okay, at that particular point of time, extremist movement was not gearing up. Anti-Muslim attitude of the extremist leader, okay, that is not the case. The extremist leaders were not anti-Muslim in nature. Indifference shown to the Muslim aspirations, that is also not correct. Extremist policy on focusing, okay, what we can say, extremist policy on hunting or focusing on the Hindu past, okay, that is true. Okay, this particular tendency is known as the revivalist tendency. Okay, revivalist tendency. This particular tendency is known as the revivalist tendency. Okay, they had, what we can say, focused upon the glorification, okay, glorification of the past, and that they, what we can say, unintentionally focused upon the ancient past, and ancient past was associated with the Hindu community, and therefore, okay, they had aimed at revival of that glory of the past, and therefore the Muslims began to think that if past is to be glorified, past is to be revived, and if that past is the Hindu past, then what is the position of Muslim community in that revived past? And therefore the Muslim people, okay, they remained aloof from the extremist movement. Okay, so option number D is the answer. Okay, yes. Next question, which of the following statement is incorrect? Which of the following statements is incorrect regarding, okay, regarding economic and social life under the Delhi Sultanate? India had trade contacts with foreign lands, both, okay, to east as well as the west. Okay, then manufacturing of the paper and superior mortar was introduced by the Turks. That is correct. The slaves were used only in the rural areas as agricultural laborer. No, that is not correct. Okay, slaves was used for domestic purpose in the rural as well as the urban areas, and therefore this statement is incorrect. Even what we can see in the for the war purpose, the slaves were used. Slavery system was important feature of the Sultanate polity as well. Okay, in fact, what we can say, the slave department was a characteristic feature of the Firuz Shah Tughlaq's reign. So therefore the C statement is incorrect. There was a well-developed communication system with runners posted every few kilometers. That is also the correct. Okay, you have been asked to identify the incorrect statement. This is incorrect statement. Okay, then Tulsidas wrote Ramacharita during the reign of which of the following Mughal ruler? Okay, answer is Akbar. During the period of Akbar, okay, Tulsidas, Mirabai, Tulsidas, then Surdas and Mirabai, and of course Dadu Dayal, Mirabai and Dadu Dayal. Okay, these are considered as the saints who were contemporary to the Akbar. So answer is D. Okay, next question. In context with the Wood's dispatch, consider the following statement. Wood's dispatch of 1854 laid the foundation of present system of education system in India. That is true, and therefore it is considered as the Magna Carta of the modern education in India. It helped education institutions founded by private efforts to obtain grants for the government of India. Yes, that was the recommendation made by the Charles Wood. It made a provision of moral and religious education as an important part of education. Okay, this is incorrect. This is associated with the Hunter Commission of 1882. Okay, this statement is applicable to Hunter Commission 1882, and therefore this statement is incorrect. Option number B, 1 and 2 are the correct one. Regarding the one district, one product, consider the following statements. It was launched by Ministry of Consumer Affairs. No. It is launched by Ministry of Food Processing Industries, and therefore the first statement is wrong. This initiative is carried out with district as the import hub. No. Okay, this initiative is carried out with the district as an export hub, and therefore second statement is also wrong. The states are responsible for identifying the food products for their district. That is also correct. Okay, it provides financial and technical assistance to district level industries. That is correct, and therefore option number C, 3 and 4 are correct one. Okay, next question. Okay, Nandikeshwar Abhiyan Darpan is related to the dance. It is 5th century text associated with the, okay, art of the dance. Okay, the option is B. Correct option is B, dance. Now let's discuss the next question, 84th question. Consider the following statements regarding the Bharat Gaurav scheme. Under the scheme, trains now have a third segment of tourism apart from goods and services. Okay, this is correct. Okay, these are the what we can say the trains launched for the promotion of tourism with specific objectives. The trains under this initiative will not run on proper schedule like regular train. That is also correct. Okay, these trains will solely be run by the private players. Okay, that is incorrect. Showcase India's rich culture, heritage and magnificent historical places to the people of India and the world through Bharat Gaurav train. Okay, that is theme based. Okay, it is theme based. Okay, tourist circuit train, and therefore the second statement is also correct one. Okay, yes. So third statement is not correct. First and second. Next question. Okay, following with reference to non-cognizable offence in India, consider the following statement. The police can arrest the accused without a warrant. No. The victim can file a warrant only to the superintendent of police. That is also not correct, even to the subordinate officers. And therefore, neither 1 nor 2 is the correct answer. Next question is, consider the following statements about the Greco-Indian art. Okay. Use of the bluish grey sandstone. Okay, this statement is correct. Okay, theme based on Buddhism and Jainism. No, Jainism is not part of the Greco-Indian art, predominantly the Buddhist theme. Patronized by the Satvahana rulers. No, patronized by the Kushana rulers. Kushana, Shaka rulers. And therefore, the second and the third statement are incorrect. The first statement is the correct one only. Next question is, okay, Cyber Swachhata Kendra. Okay, yes. Cyber Swachhata Kendra aims to create secure cyberspace for the Indian users by detecting botnet infections and enabling end users to clean their system. Okay, that is correct. That was the objective of this particular initiative. Cyber Dome is Center of Excellence for the Indian Institute of Bombay, IITB, to meet the long-term security challenges in the digital arena. No, it is located in the Trivandrum. Second statement is incorrect. You have been asked to identify the incorrect statement. B is the answer. Next question. With reference to the Snake Island, okay, which of the following statements is or are correct? It is a small piece of rock less than 700 meters. That is correct. It is located in the Mediterranean Sea. No, it is located in the Black Sea. It is in the Ukraine. It is also called as the Zmini Island. That is also correct. Okay, recently it is the part of that Russia-Ukraine controversy, and that is why it has come into this particular question. It is a part of the news, and therefore what we can say, you have been asked to identify the correct statement. Second is wrong. 1 and 3 are the correct. D is the answer. Okay, yes. Next question. With reference to the dragonflies, okay, consider the following statements. It is mostly found near, okay, the freshwater habitats throughout most of the world. Most species of dragonflies live in the tropics and particularly in the rainforest. They feed on insects that are vectors to life-threatening diseases like malaria and dengue. Okay, you have been asked to identify the incorrect statement, and okay, all the statements are correct, and therefore none of the above is the answer. Okay, next question. Okay, which of the following is or are not present in a stupa? Okay, Medi is a part of stupa. Okay, Medi is the part of stupa. Herbika is a part of stupa, but shaft and abacus, they are part of the pillar architecture. Ashokan pillar architecture, shaft and the abacus, and therefore 2 and 3. Okay, this is the answer. You have been asked to identify the features which are not part of the stupa. Shaft and abacus are the part of the pillar. Okay, yes. Next question. With reference to the West Seti power project, consider the following statement. It is a proposed hydropower project which is to be built on the Seti river in the Bhutan. No, it is in the western Nepal, and therefore first statement is incorrect. The dam site is located at the confluence of Seti and Karnali rivers, forming the part of Ganges basin. That is correct, and therefore the second statement is correct one. Okay, next question. Consider the following. Peacock was usually present in the Gupta coins. Okay, that is wrong. Peacock is present on the coins of the Kumar Gupta, but that is not the usual feature. Kumar Gupta's coin has the peacock feature, but that is not the regular feature. Rather, tiger, lion, boar. Okay, these are the regular presentations on the Gupta coins. Western Chalukyan kings used the image of boar as a common symbol in coins. That is also incorrect. Okay, Western Chalukyan coin did not use, rather it is a kind of what we can say the specification of the Gupta, or eventually what we can say Varaha type of coins. Okay, that is the Vijayanagara, and therefore, okay, neither 1 nor 2 is the answer. Okay, next question. National E-Governance Service Delivery Assessment 2021 is released by which of the following? Okay, it is by the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and the Pension. Okay, option number C is the answer. That is factual. Okay, next is which of the following statement is or are correct with reference to Jal Jeevan Mission? It was launched under the stewardship of Ministry of Rural Development. No, it is under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. It is solely focused on the grey water management. No, it is tap water management. Okay, and therefore neither 1 nor 2. Okay, that is the answer. With respect to the 6G technology, consider the following statement. 6G internet will support 1 microsecond latency communication. Okay, that is true. That is the delay in the communication. That the term latency communication is associated with the, okay, what we can say, delivery and the reception gap. Okay, so latency communication, it will support the 1 microsecond latency communication, and therefore it is the fastest one. It seeks to utilize the tetrahertz band of the frequency, which is currently unutilized. So both the statements are correct one. Okay. Next is Ujjain symbol was a common feature of the, okay, Satvahana. This is Ujjain symbol, a kind of what you can say plus sign. Okay, at the 4 corners of the plus sign there are 4 circles. This is Ujjain symbol, and it is a characteristic feature of the Satvahana coinage. Okay, which of the following agencies, okay, jointly released the Tracking Sustainable Development Goals 7 Energy Progress Report? Okay, what we can say, all of these above, they had issued this particular report. International Energy Agency, okay, then International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, United Nations Strategic Division, World Bank and the World Health Organization. Together they had issued this particular report. Okay, yes. Okay, yes, next question is, consider the following statements, okay, regarding United Nations Security Council. It was established by, okay, it was established by, okay, United Nations Charter in 1945 with its headquarters, okay, with its headquarters in New York. The presidency of the UNSC rotates every month, okay, among its 15 members. You have been asked to identify the incorrect statement, and therefore, okay, it was established a part of UN Charter. Okay, yes, that is true. With its headquarters in the New York, that is also correct. And the presidency of the UNSC rotates every month among its 15 members. The presidency of the council is held by each of the members in turn for 1 month following the English alphabetical order of the member state names, and therefore both the statements are correct and none is the incorrect one. Okay, next question is, okay, which of the following statements are correct regarding the information technology rules? Okay, 2021. Okay, yes, mandates, okay, it mandates social media to exercise greater diligence. Okay, that is correct. This is logical. Establishment of a grievance officer, that is also true. Made government the arbiter to suppress the speech. Yes, okay. Obligations on social media to resolve the complaints. Okay, that is also correct. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is the answer. Okay, next question. With reference to the slow fashion movement, which of the following is or are correct? It is concerned with the tardy process of adopting new fashion streams. No. Slow fashion is a movement that advocates for environmental and social justice in the fashion industry. So what we can say, in continuation of fashion industry, there would not be any social injustice. At the same time, there would not be much harm to the environmental, okay, considerations, and therefore what we can say, the adoption of new techniques and the styles so that the social justice would be served and environmental protection objective is also served. Okay, that is the objective, and therefore first statement is incorrect. It is an approach to producing clothing which takes into consideration all aspects of the supply chain. Okay, all aspects of the supply chain, that is social, environmental, economic and other aspects, and that is why the statement B is correct. Okay, you have been asked to identify the correct statement. B, second statement is the correct answer. Yes, okay, so friends, this is how we had discussed okay, these questions. Hopefully, okay, in the form of the discussion, you must have gotten certain additional points, especially with respect to the history questions. Okay, so I would wish to take your leave. Thank you very much. Bye.